Martial arts, karate, I bust you down like Itachi, cause you Jitney Hachi. Trick kamikaze, I'm talking to bodies as I go strip Harley. Your niggas can hardly be me, I'm not part of the sea. I'm part of the sea like Moses. No psychosis or hocus pocus. I put importance to stay focused. Ignore all the BS on my timeline. I throw a lifeline for those thinking I ain't about mine. Hit you upside your head with a tie iron. Can't be your time if it's my time. They said to be patient, I'm patiently waiting. It's driving me crazy, cause lately the odds that I'm facing is basic and basically tragically hating. Anticipating my fall, they want it all for themselves. So I made the call, no need to stall. I go and get them all off of the shelf. I take affirmative action, I'm blasting and laughing of how you're reacting to my satisfaction of cashing injections and Benjis and Wilsons, the life that you always imagined. Brother from the goal, yeah. If you ever see him go, it's Holocaust or Holy Ghost. Overcome or overflow, yeah. Either way it's overdose. Watch you walk or comatose, penetrating to your soul, yeah. Tit for tat and toe for toe, pound for pound and blow for blow. You would never see me fold, nah. Claiming that what you don't know, that is how you get exposed. Left for dead with bullet holes. Leave it alone. Promises are.
What it do? It's your boy Il Divino Vega. You already know what it is. We in the chop shop. Part 2 to Nothing Is Off the Table. Because if you were here last time, you saw how far that went. It was like literally probably 2 hours per conversation piece. But I guess that's the telltale sign of a good conversation. And I'm here for it. And the homie Still Abdul is also here for it. What it do, bro?
Hey, the chop shop, man. Definitely appreciate the conversations over here. You know, nothing's off limits.
Nothing is off limits. Man, dude, low key, a lot has happened since last week. Just a few things I think we can talk about, but I do want to make sure we get to the what we did miss last week, you know, and just because I feel like I want to open that door. I want to just let's walk through it already. You know what I'm saying? Enough with the taboos and you know what I'm saying, walking on eggshells. We're just gonna talk about it. But before we get there, I definitely feel like we should probably talk about what just took place on the 18th. It was a pretty good event, I think. Overall, I'd say, like, you know, it wasn't too crazy, you know, like I think we managed, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like the drama that could have kicked off didn't kick off as much as I thought it would have, which is why even I tried to do my best to, like, you know, stomp out whatever fire may have already started or may have come to start. And I'm like, hold on, like, you know, let me make sure why, you know, I address why I'm here, you know what I'm saying? And
speaking of the Zack Snyder Justice League trending event, March 18th, yes. You know, I think it was a pretty it was probably people may trip when I say this, but that was probably one of the most active ones I've seen as far as anniversary of ZSJL.
Right.
That one was it was a pretty active one. It was pretty interesting.
I agree. No, I agree. It was, yeah, that's how I felt. That's considering how other events have gone recently. I'm like, this obviously wasn't no, you know, release the Snyder Cut type, you know, phenomenon.
Nothing.
You know what I'm saying? Not even close.
Nothing.
Really, going to be honest, but like you said, this by far out of all the events that kind of followed it, you know, or maybe followed the release of the movie, maybe with the exception of maybe the initial Restore the Snyderverse launch fight, you know, when we finally got, you know, Zack Snyder's Justice League, and, you know, we were all hyped about seeing Darkseid in the end, and we were like, this is what we want. Like, this is what we want, you know, just restore the Snyderverse. And so maybe then was like the exception, because at that time I think everybody was just on board with the idea of like, yo, like, you probably thought we were gonna shut up after seeing this movie, but you really
and you're talking about right after the Snyder Cut came out. Yeah, that initial push, like Fiona posted a picture, and was like restore the Snyderverse, and it stuck from there. You know, till like I said, till now, and then now it's just like, and I'm sure you'll probably get all into it, but it's like several messages now, but just in my opinion, it started with Restore with Fiona or whoever was helping with that account. That's where it started. Right. This next wave, and I see everything else is like variations, like Us United and all that stuff.
Yeah,
it started with Restore.
That's it's funny. I had that same thought the other day. I'm like, you can't. And here's my thing. I don't care what you do, like like what you want to post and how you want to, go about it. It's again, like I said last time, some things actually do make sense to why you would, and which is why I'll even like do it myself. So I think the more prominent ones now are for sure between Restore the Snyderverse, because again, that's like the equivalent of Release the Snyder Cut. Like you can't expect that to stop. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like that's the initial push for what wanted. But then anything after that is, like you said, it's like Us United or whatever other ones. It's like it's gonna stick with a few, and for some it's not, because it's like, well, why change the messaging? But like the more prominent one now would also be sell the Snyderverse to Netflix.
Cell's been a big push, for a couple years now.
Which makes sense, again, because it's like, all right, like we're trying to illuminate the idea, like, hey, if you're not trying to do this yourself, you sell the licensing to somebody else that will do it and willing to make that money, you know what I'm saying? Or make the risk that you see as a risk, but we as a fan know is not a risk, because we know we're going to be right there to pick it up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
third party never was a bad idea, right? And I think what we know the history of that is after Gunn was hired, everyone's like, okay, Zach will never work with Warner Brothers again. Like, it's over, right? So that third party idea, and we was hearing about everything getting sold off and stuff, that birthed that, right? And so that has always been a viable option, whether it's Netflix, Amazon, whoever.
Right.
And then now, as me and you kind of covered on my channel not too long ago, is Zach doing the 300 prequel. Now he's working in some capacity with Warner Brothers again. So now that door is not closed. Right. So my thing is, third party, great idea. If Warner's get themselves together, great. I'm not going to close any doors. It's my point.
Exactly. Never close any doors, because anything's possible. Let me go ahead and just shout out these guys in the comment section. Mr. J, what it do, brother? What it do? Saluting the boy Sickness, also in the chat. What's up, Sickness?
Shout out to Sickness.
Hell yeah.
I do. He's been real active lately, Sickness. I'm just going to say that. He's been real active. Man, I almost say, because I don't want to divert the conversation, but Sickness, he gave the best description of the Superman suit. I've never seen anyone articulate it while hating on it at the same time, but he gave the best argument why it's like those who's, like, give Gunn a chance, or there's a crowd out there that's like, y'all can just crap on everything. It's like Sickness made the greatest point, saying like, I don't even care if the movie's good. This is why we don't like the suit. You know what I'm saying? It was just a great, one of his best tweets ever.
No, for sure. No, But that's those are the things that I'm talking about too. Like even last time, where I'm like, man, even if the movie's good, what's gonna suck is I'm just not on board with how the suit looks, how these other heroes look. I just don't like the aesthetics as it is, and that's a fair thing to, I guess you could say, criticism. To opinionate and criticize, because it's like when you've gotten something that's already great amongst many fans, you know what I'm saying? And then here you are kind of trying to change it, and it's like, bro, it's just not sticking to the wall, dog. It's just not sticking to the wall.
I rewatched Man of Steel. Like first, I watched the Snyder Cut on Snyder Cut Day. I got 4 hours free, and so I was like, let me go on, and I kind of chronicle it in a thread, just my rewatch. I was like, this is so epic. Like just every like 15 minutes, I'm like, this movie is so epic, bro. And like now you see the gun tone, and it's like, again, it has its audience, but it's just like, man, comparing that. And then I watched Man of Steel the other day again. I was like, man, it's like, it ain't the same epicness, man. It's just not. No matter how that film turns out, you know, I'm gonna cover all DC, everybody knows, but it's not gonna feel the same, man.
Yeah, no. That's the unfortunate. That's the unfortunate part, you know, for DC. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not. I don't care about Gunn. I don't really care about Warner Brothers for that matter, you know, or anybody. For me, it's DC. I grew up on DC. I would love to see it flourish, especially when you got all these, you know, Marvel heads out here, you know, claiming they're the best. And you know, and now there we are, you know, and that's been like the war, you know, for a while now. It's that like DC Marvel, whatever, you know. And here's the thing, like I like Marvel movies too, you know, I can enjoy those, but I love me some DC cinematic universe, especially Man of Steel, BVS, you know, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Hell, even though and here's the thing, I still want to see the Ayer cut. But I still prefer seeing that Suicide Squad over the Suicide Squad, you know. And to me, it still fits within the narrative or the storyline, you know, from Man of Steel, BVS. You can go into Suicide Squad feeling like you're obviously still in that universe, you know. Again, I would love to see David Ayer's true vision there, and it might, and to me, like, it might even just stick even more, like, you know what I mean? Like, it might mesh even more well. Wonder Woman, as much as I'm not a fan of the third act, but, you know, if there is a, I don't know, Patty Jenkins cut, you know, and there's a third act that's better, bring it out too, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. In my mind, I'm like, if these things exist, why hold them to yourselves? You know what I mean? Like, why not?
Right.
Why not just release it out there, especially in the streaming platform? That's the part that gets me.
Like with the disc, didn't they always used to like throw the bonus features in? It's like, I don't know if they got away from that. It's like, give us all this stuff, man.
Yeah, exactly my point. That's what I'm baffled sometimes. Like, what happened to like the deleted scenes or the alternate scenes and that you would get in these bonus movies? And again, for me, it's like now y'all got the streaming platform that y'all trying to constantly, obviously, get customers to sign up. The more content you have on the stream, you would think like, you know, it's incentive. You know, like, oh wait, what? There's an alternate version of Wonder Woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a director's cut of Suicide Squad. Like, you know what I mean? Like, these are things that would bring people to your platform.
That's
money. It baffles me that they're just not. They don't care. You know, that they just don't care. Like, it's crazy to me. Like, like it's either that or I don't know what you're afraid. You're afraid that you know, people are gonna. And you know what? Maybe just maybe, it might be us. Maybe it was us. Maybe our response to the release of Zack Snyder's Justice League. You know,
they're like, shut these people down.
They keep wanting more. You know, say we give them the haircut, they're just gonna want more. We give them more.
But just give us what you got. That's all. That's all it is.
Yeah, like, at the very least, just give us what you got. And here's the thing. This is what it is to me. Is like, you're already choosing to ignore us anyways at the moment for the Snyderverse, like for the, you know, for Zack to come back and finish it. You're already ignoring us there without the extra content you already have that you could release. Why not just release it? You're for sure going to get more customers, and then you can still choose to ignore us. You know, like, you still ignore us. You already do it anyways. Why not try and make some money while you're ignoring us? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's like I think the haircut just is really the easiest thing they could drop, and I mean I think people realize now it's, you know, Gunn's not going to help get a release at this moment. We'll see. I mean, just with Ayer cut, I think we'll be able to revisit this probably next summer. Because then we'll see how Superman does, how Supergirl does. Then it's like, okay, now before this next wave of stuff you're trying to do, because that's what he wants. He wants to get this first wave out. Superman, Peacemaker, Lanterns. after that, let's go and drop that Ayer cut. Like, stop playing.
Right.
You know, and then hey, if you're still surviving, then then you go ahead and do your booster gold or whatever.
Oh man, booster freaking gold, Jesus. Well, that's some real talk, and on that real talk, let's go ahead and bring the homie representing Real Talk Productions. We got Carlos in the building.
What's up, boys? How's everybody doing today?
Oh, Carlos.
Doing
RTP.
good, bro.
Yes, sir.
Man, so I was just talking to Sil about the 318 Zack Snyder's Justice League event, where obviously I felt it actually did pretty well, compared to previous events that have occurred, and how I was somewhat actually shocked and kind of happy that things didn't get too crazy. I'm glad there was a sense of calmer heads, on an event that's not about us. It's about, it somewhat is about us, I guess, but it's not about us really. It's about Zach and his work, and how we want to see him continue his work. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
So it was good to kind of just see that cooler heads prevailed, at least for the event. Whatever happened after, it is what it is. I have, I have nothing to do with that, but as long as the event went and it was, solid, and I'm happy for that.
One thing I kind of saw that came from that too, and I don't know if Carlos has some thoughts on that too, but it like we was talking about the different messaging that's out there now, and it's like, right. And we kind of talked about this before the event, Vega. We kind of was a prelude to that event because it was like,
right,
yeah, it don't matter the message, like it's all about Zach,
right?
And on that day, yeah, restore is probably the main hashtag used, but then you saw like different variations. Yep. Like I said, I think we should just, make sure Zack Snyder's name is somewhere in there. So, people's trending Zack Snyder's Justice League. And so I think that's one thing, the evolution of the fandom, because we've kind of seen the different stages where it'll just release. Like, that's it. Just give us the film. It exists. Stop playing. That was a clean message, right? Yeah. It was like, since then, it was like restore and all this other stuff. And I think just the fandom has evolved where it's like, no matter what you're saying, everyone knows it's going back to Zack Snyder. That's what we're talking about.
Right. So I don't know if you have thoughts, Silos, just chime in.
Yeah, man. So during the event, I was actually working. I had to don't mind my dog in the background. I had to actually watch the 4 hours, the Zack Snyder film. I had to watch it on my phone while I was working on an aircraft.
Facts.
It was like watching it for the first time again, man. It was so good. And to Sil's point, let me go calm this guy down. Hold on a second. I'll be right
back. Well, let me hold it down while these guys are doing what they're doing. Oh man, look, I would say that on that day, I actually did. I would hop back and forth between watching the movie and then going, obviously, staying active on Twitter, because in my mind, again, it's like, I'm here for this. I'm here for the fight. I'm here to bring whatever awareness I can bring to the movement, to the event. No, you're good, brother. So I was definitely on it all day, trying to push it as much as I can. And honestly, the way I saw it was like, look, I'm going to use both hashtags that I know are working, trending prominently. One between the main one that kicked this all off after the release of the Snyder Cut, which was Restore Snyderverse, and then obviously I went with the sell the Snyderverse to Netflix, because why not? If there's an avenue there for a third party to pick this up and do something with it, because Warner Brothers don't want to, or Discovery for that matter, then it is what it is. There's I'm promoting two things that the most important thing is, like, however we can get Zack Snyder to finish his work, and not even just his work, because a lot of people think about just Justice League 2 and 3, but like the more between watching Man of Steel, BVS, and then even like Suicide Squad and Wonder Woman, and you know, and then you look at all these characters, and it's like I'm not honestly like bring that universe back. Period. You know, and if you know, and I know some people disagree with this because you know some people are Zack Snyder purists, and there's nothing wrong with that, you know. But even like whatever films existed around that time that had loose connections, like just bring that back, and then see what this guy can do with that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just see what he could do with it. Like, just let the man do what he does. You know what I'm saying? And just let him do what he does. And I'm almost certain he could take all the characters, some that you see in the back wall. I don't know if you can actually see them, but you know, from even, you know, Aquaman, you know, from Aquaman and his universe, and you know, Shazam and that universe, and then Black Adam, if you want to throw that in. I could probably do without Birds of Prey, and I could probably I don't know if there's anything else I can think of out of that, but at least
Suicide Squad, the original Suicide Squad, Erica.
Yeah,
you know,
just the Suicide Squad. Yeah. Like, bring that back, you know, that world, you know, those characters. And then, you know, for the sake of like, just because, you know, my man's unfortunately just, you know, didn't have a fair shot, but, you know, then maybe add Blue Beetle into it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, apparently he's part of the new regime, the new DC.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
well, you know, they're not gonna. They can't snooze on that. There's reasons for that, you know. Yeah. I'm sure.
What I was gonna say though, and still kind of touched on it, man. I thought it was pretty cool. And we did touch on it last week when we talked, was the hashtag Zack Snyder. I saw that so much, and that to me, it felt like that was the message. That's what we wanted to push. You know, that day was about Zack, about what Zack was able to accomplish, what we were able to get, you know, from pushing the love for Zack and all that stuff, man. And you know, that's like I said, man. I was working, I was rewatching it, and it had been I want to say a good month or two that I seen the film, you know, because I have it on replay, man. I bought it, obviously. I have it on Max, so I'm watching it, you know, whenever I can. And I had been busy these last couple of months, and when I put it back, man, just watching it, the build up, the ending with Deathstroke and everything, and I'm like, man, there's no way that this is all, you know, this is all we got. Like, we need more, man. Like,
yes,
it's and everyone would tell you, you know, I'm open to seeing, you know, this new regime and you know what they have to do, because you know I am a DC fan. I want to see what's going on, but man, if there's any light to just getting Zack back and just having his vision, you know, whether it's continuing the Snyderverse or you know, putting his own 2 cents into a DC project, like, man, I need DC back. I need Zack's DC back. You know, I need that. I need that, man. And yeah, so much.
Right. No, for sure.
Bring Zack back.
We got Sammy in the chat. Yo, what up, Sammy? Shout out Sickness. Who else we got? We got Hades.
Sammy out there doing numbers.
Yes, sir.
I said when it's time for like trending, like that's why I always tell any Snyder fans, like, whatever Sammy's putting out there, like jump on that engagement. You know what I'm saying? Jump on that engagement that Sammy puts out there, because that's where the pulse is at. You know what I mean? For the fandom. I mean, we you know, Vega, we've seen different waves of people in the fandom that's kind of, you know, push things, you know. This ain't me throwing shade or anything, but it used to be the Hub account. You know what I mean? Just like collectively. I think a lot of them guys kind of, you know, fell off even like, you know, activity, but it used to be that OG Hub account where how they move, you're like, okay, this is where the pulse is at. And so, like I said, just today, you know, Sammy in the account that she's running, that's where the pulse is at, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So good work out there.
No, shout out to Sammy. Putting in work for sure. And yeah, no, you're right about that. There's, you know, unfortunately, before it was like that Hub account, so it was easy to just, you know, you knew whatever was coming out of that, like, even though
it was so efficient.
It was it
was killing it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, shout out to those guys. You know, like I knew a lot of them personally, and
that's OGs right there.
Yeah, those are the OGs for sure. And I still, you know, like anything and everything, I guess, you know,
some behind the scenes stuff, kind of.
Yeah, you know,
I caught the tail end of that, like just by, seeing the behind the scenes, and Peely filled me in on a lot of stuff too. But just no one ever stays good.
No one ever stays good. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Facts.
Oh man.
Ain't that the truth?
Oh man. Oh, that's good. That's good, man. I mean, look, in the end of the day, like, again, I'm just happy that the event went as well as it did. I think if we can manage to stay on the same, like, that wavelength, and again, hopefully maybe even just qualm all drama, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, which, and salute to those that didn't bite the bait. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we're on point. You know what I mean? Because for sure, it
could have got messy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It really could have, and kind of distracted the needed attention. Like I caught the telling what Carlos was saying. Like, it's about Zack Snyder, and that hashtag was popping up, just pointing to it's about Zack Snyder. And anytime, and that's where I was talking about the evolution of the fandom when I was tweeting that day, because I was like, hey, even if you're not rocking with the hashtag I'm using, like, you could retweet this or quote tweet this, throw your own hashtag on it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And let's just amplify, everyone. Because at the end of the day, what it's all about is that Zack showed attention to DC, just as for a reminder for people. We know he still want to do DC.
Yeah.
This is just another reminder that he interacted with a tribute video. And no matter what the messaging people want to focus on with the video, it was a tribute to the Snyderverse, and Zack jumped on it, Jay Oliva and others, and that's what it was all about. That, hey, Zack, he hasn't forgot DC. When he comes out with another film or project, he's going to talk about DC again.
Yeah,
and I believe he's going to do DC again in the future. So that's what it's all about.
100%. No, and it goes back to what you said earlier. He already is in talk. He's already talking to Warner Brothers about other stuff. Like, you just can't.
We talked about it last week. The photo, say what you want, whether it was, to get the fans riled up or whatever. But bro, he was in the building. Like, that to me is like that's huge. That's huge, because there was a point where we thought we would never see Zack back in Warner Brothers.
Yeah. And
now he's there.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's the thing. So he's clearly, if here's the thing, I don't know. I can't pretend to really know what Gunn is up to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What I can say is in the end of the day, if by a chance him and Zack do have a relationship, as he likes to claim they do, right? And they really are friends, then I would hope that you have the sense of, even if it's not right now because you're too involved with your own thing that you're trying to kick off. All right, whatever, let's let you do your thing. But I would hope that if Zack Snyder's really your boy, and Zack really rocks with his fans, that somewhere down the line you're thinking, we're gonna have to do this one way or another. Whether that's, like you said, finishing what he already started from way back, or if it's I might just have to bring you in to do something new. You know what I mean? Like, unfortunately, which that's, to me, it still kind of sucks for sure. Because I wanted to see where that dark side, that whole universe. Like, I don't know if you heard this part, but that whole universe that did exist but obviously the foundation being Zack's work. You know what I mean? But like, from David Ayer's Suicide Squad to Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Shazam, though, even like, again, the ones that loosely connected to the Snyderverse in a sense, hell, even Black Adam, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
If you just let Zack Snyder come and cook with that whole universe, dude. Oh, dude. You know what I mean? Like nasty. It's
Yeah.
like it's but let's just say again, that's the dream. That's what I dream. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You know, that over here saw the post that I put of like it was like the figures I have in the back. It was like paneling, but then I had the song of the siren playing, and then the next line is like, "Did I dream? You dreamt about me." That shit.
Mhm.
That's me. You know what I'm saying? That's
All
my
right.
dream. You know what I mean?
Man, I gotta believe Gunn. I know, again, I know a lot of people would be like, "Oh, he's a narcissist and all this stuff." And it's like, yeah, I mean, all that is true. Like, that's the thing. It's like we Gunn know he really does want to, like, you know, project himself and keep it real. Like, for this Superman film, if people are honest, you know, yeah, you got Superman, but you can't really, you know, sell corn sweat.
Yeah.
James Gunn is the superstar of the film, right? Like they're you know, they want him to be a superstar director. So I get why it's a funny joke. Again, I see a lot of different memes and stuff. It's funny that he puts himself, like, it's one meme I saw where he's like stiff arming Superman in the face, and it's like Gunn standing there, you know, and Superman, you know, by James Gunn, and he's like stiff arming Superman. So it's like, I get it, but with all that said, Gunn, I know he knows. I know he has his pulse on social media because he's always on it, and he knows Snyder fans how anyone would take him in the picture with Zack Snyder. He could have easily not put Zack in any picture, and
100%.
Everyone would be like, "Well, there's no chance for Zack." As soon as he put that picture, even Gunn fans was like, what could Zack direct?" And these are people that don't even mess with Snyder fans. They're like,
yeah, exactly.
Zack stuff does look cool. If Gunn says it's cool, then, you know. Yeah. So there is a lane right there, and that's why I say, after this first wave, it's about this first wave of DC. Next summer, I'm looking forward to, you know, the more conversations of Ayer cut and Zack coming back. You know, I think next summer is going to be the time to really talk about that.
Yeah. So I kind of have a theory. I mean, hey, everybody, please take this with a grain of salt. Throw it like as far as you can reach it, because it may not even happen. But like, so I messaged you, so too, on the day of the whole trending event when he posted everything. I thought it was kind of interesting to me because obviously we all know, we all have our copies, our 4K, you know, the physical copies. And in that post, Zack mentions HBO Max, to go watch it on Max, stream it on Max. I feel like that is a very big, like, I don't know, like that. It stuck with me when he posted that.
Like I said, that's how we look at anything that Zack does, and Zack doesn't just tag people to tag him.
Exactly.
He did not have to tag Max,
right?
But you know, when we're talking about him, you know, working in some capacity with Warner Brothers, again, and Zaslav obviously doesn't want to sell the rights to the Snyder Cut anywhere. Like, he wants it to stay on Max. I talked about this a year or so ago. Amazon wanted the Snyder Cut. They got the Ultimate Edition BVS and Man of Steel and they wanted the Snyder Cut, and Zaslav would not let them get it. So there's value there, right? So with Zack tagging that, and that's why I said earlier, I'm not closing any doors, you know, and I'm sure Zack is still getting some kind of residuals from that streaming on Max as well too. So I definitely caught notice of that, Carlos, for sure.
So to take a page out of Vega's book here, to be, you know, devil's advocate here, right? So everyone's, I mean, Sil, you've been saying it since the beginning of the year, how Superman, this is the year of Superman. This is all that's coming out this year for DC. Is there a chance maybe for you know, certain release date in November, maybe December, if it could be, why don't we put Zack Snyder's Justice League in the theaters for, you know, a special event or something for a weekend, you know, whether maybe after doing that you may drop an Ayer cut. I mean, to me, Gunn, you know, I understand this is all he has right now, Superman this year, but there's a reason for that. To me, I'm a guy who likes to like I guess I read into things too much, but you know, for me, it's just like I don't know, man. Like there's a reason why there's only one major project being released today. I mean, being released this year, and you have all those open avenues. You know, I don't know. I think that'll build up hype for DC. Obviously, it'll bring a lot of people to Gunn's side if he were to do that. I mean, people are gonna hate him. They're gonna hate him. But there's others who are open, and I think that would open the doors a lot more. I don't know. What would you guys think about that? Like if sometime maybe later this year or maybe early to start next year. I don't know. I just think that there's an avenue for it there sometime this year.
Zach and Debbie, they want to do another SnyderCon, right?
Oh.
So when I was out there for the full circle, I don't know if they talked about it on camera, but like, you know, I asked them about DeLuca, Abdi. It was all off camera, so that's an L for me. But but they want another SnyderCon, and if Zach is in Warner Brothers building with Gunn, you know, Gunn's co-head of DC Studios now, so that communication is there, right? If I see a SnyderCon pop up next year, now I want to repeat the fiasco. What was that 2 years ago, where people thought it was like they're gonna restore the Snyderverse at full circle, because I never said that. But if another SnyderCon pops up next year, I'm gonna be very interested in this relationship that Zach has now.
Yeah, because I mean, like before, you know, obviously, I mean, we're gonna say it till our face turns blue. My room is blue already. You know, so like we're gonna say it. We want him to continue his story, but I feel like how that starts is obviously getting Zack Snyder's Justice League in the theaters for everyone to enjoy. Yeah, we have it on Max. Yeah, we have it in our physical copies. But to sit down in the actual theater, for those who didn't get to go to the first SnyderCon, to actually sit there and see it, even if it's a weekend event, like man, like I feel like that right there is the starting point to so many more things. So. That's how I feel on that, man.
You know, that's actually kind of brings up between what you guys are talking about and even what Sammy posted in the comment section. I did have this a question. Maybe you guys, I don't get your thoughts on it, but you know, if we were to let's just say, I don't know, like between, I guess, whether or not they sell the Snyderverse to a third party or not, or whether they do it themselves. My thing is going forward, can we start getting theatrical releases again? Because like you, I'm sure, like, you know, or maybe I'm alone in this one. Personally, I feel like I feel left out all the time. You know, you got all these SnyderCons that take place, but it's only, you know, not all these SnyderCons, but the SnyderCons that do take place, it's always in LA, you know what I mean? And then even with like, so you know, that's that. And so I kind of felt like, man, I would really love to see that movie in the theater, you know, in all its glory, you know what I'm saying? IMAX for that matter. But then that being said, right? That's that was the chosen release format for Zack Snyder's Justice League was streaming. So it's like, all right, it is what it is. Yeah. But I at least still hope that they would have at least done some kind of theatrical release. But okay, whatever. You didn't. It is what it is. Now, so I just wonder, like, even if like they were to do that or like continue that universe, are we asking for more HBO Max release, or are we also asking for theatrical release? Like go full force with that one. And then two, that's my first question on that end. But then two, my other concern is like if a third party picks it up, and let's just say it's Netflix, personally on my end, Netflix kind of failed to also release Rebel Moon in a lot of theaters. They only chose to release it in select theaters. So even then I'm like, I don't know if that's the move, because they didn't even release Rebel Moon in all the theaters. They were selective, and I missed out on a theatrical experience with that movie.
Yep. So
I don't know. I guess my question is, what exactly are we looking for? And if it is theater, you know, which is my kind of like dream wish, I guess, is is Netflix the move, or even is any third party the move at that point? Are they, if it's a third party picking it up, would they do a theatrical release? Who's more idealistic if there is a third party? Who's more ideal? Who's the more ideal choice in a theatrical release that would have the balls to release it theatrically? And I guess, and if it's like the first thing I said, if it's that it stays within the, Warner Brothers and all that and HBO, are we content with the streaming releases, or are we gonna like also ask for like theatrical release? And honestly, that's on the back end that I still want a theatrical release for Zack Snyder's Justice League. So I don't know your guys' thoughts on that.
I feel like for me, I mean, if we get Zack back, like I said, and I said it last week, animation, whatever it is, I'm down for it. But that's why I brought up that whole him tagging Max, because that's another thing. I don't want to say anything on that yet, because if it does happen, I don't want to jinx it. Like I'm just gonna let it happen. Because but that to me is very it's very key. Why is he tagging Max? But obviously, I would love, like you're saying, I didn't get that experience. I didn't get to go to SnyderCon. The tickets were sold out in an hour. I wasn't able to get my ticket to go. I wanted to go and see it in theaters, man. And if we can get it in theaters, I feel like the avenue for that to happen is what we're talking about. Gunn has to give it that special release, or even if it's Zaslav, whoever is control of that. But I feel like it has to be through Warner Brothers. If it is a third party, to me, the only one that would make sense, as much as I would love it to go to Netflix or whatnot, I really honestly think Paramount will be a good one to take it, because they do have a lot of movies who, for instance, what they're doing with Sonic. Like Sonic going to theaters right now too. I mean, like, I think that would be a good streaming platform for they can get it. They can even drop it on stream and release it in the theaters. They've been doing that a lot. So that's kind of where I sit on that.
That's interesting. You said I have like a different conclusion, like same kind of frame you going with that, Carlos. But like initially, yeah, streaming. I mean, I think I can speak for us all. It was like however we can get it, right? If they, if we can get some kind of sequel, like it could be straight to home video, it could be whatever.
Right.
Like just leave it. But just like ideally, when Zach first came back to finish the Snyder Cut, they gave him the 60, 70 million. He got Ben back in there, Ray Fisher. They did that nightmare scene and stuff. And at that time, Ben was ready to do the Batfleck movie. Things was lining up before Kilar and Cernoff, came into Warner Media, and they fired the people that, they were going to do the Snyder Cut. And I know y'all remember this is supposed to have been episodic. Supposed to have been like a weekly drop on streaming to get people talking every week, and they didn't want to redo the contracts and all that stuff. Anyway, the original idea was they were going to do Justice League 2 on Max. Right, that was an idea that was lining up to do that. It was going to be streaming. This was, obviously during the lockdown, and it was like selected productions and stuff. So they were going to do that, but now, like you was kind of saying, Carlos, now I think with the theaters opening back up and everything, like I think it's kind of changed in like 3 years. It's like now it's like, okay, we kind of need this to be in theaters. Like that was cool. Couple of years ago, just throw everything on streaming and we would take it, and we still would. But I do think theatrical in some form is an answer. Just like you were saying, Vega, with Netflix, they did a more theatrical run for Army of the Dead than they did Rebel Moon, which I find that odd. like Netflix, they're really scared of the theater format. Now, again, I understand it's their business model. And they own like a couple theaters, I think in California and I think Texas. So I
think that Glass Onion had a theater release as well, right?
In California, was it?
I think so.
But they don't want to split any theatrical profits. That's just Netflix thing. If the sequel was happening on Netflix, that's going to be streaming. We would take it. But I think the best model right now is actually Amazon MGM. If you're going to do third party, I talked about how they wanted the Snyder Cut very early when this talk of sell Snyderverse to Netflix or third parties. Amazon was the one that came in and was like, again, give us Man of Steel, BVS Ultimate Edition that was on Prime.
Wow.
And then again, they wanted the Snyder Cut. Now you see their format with Ben Affleck, Artist Equity. They released that Air film a couple years ago in theaters for like 5 weeks and then streaming. That'd be perfect for, you know, if you're talking about third party, people seeing the news of the Coyote versus Acme Looney Tunes, where you're buying the rights to a project, and then you know they can still determine, hey, you got to come back and stream on Max or however you want to do it. But the thing is, they're selling an IP, a project specifically for third party right now. You know, so we see the avenue. We've been seeing this avenue, but just the long story short, I think Amazon will probably be a good deal. They're doing The Accountant too the same way. That's another Ben Affleck Artist Equity. Yeah, where, you know, him and John Bernthal, they're going to do I hate to say limited. They're going to give it a good run in theaters, just like Air. You know, they got Oscar buzz, you know, for Air. But and then you come and stream on Prime, and that blows up the subscriptions for Prime as well. So that's what I would like, Amazon MGM, because you know they want to use theaters, you know, and streaming. So
No, most definitely. I actually, it's crazy because like it's like a tug of war between, you know, and I love Amazon, man, with all they have. You know, I saw your Patreon earlier, still shout out to the Patreon, you know, plugging that in for you, bro. For the boys, man, with what they were able to do with that on there, like crazy, and the spin-offs they got coming on, Invincible, and then man, it's exciting. It's exciting. So
that'd be a good platform, like Amazon, and they got the money. I was just looking at some reports this past week. Apple's kind of falling off of, because people was like, okay, which big company is going to kind of jump in and do business? And like Apple TV's kind of falling back because they really just lose money anytime they come out, because they thought they were going to try to buy Disney, and I don't think that's going to happen. And then so it's really down to, you know, Max. The Warner Bros. Is open for business, so they're going to be selling out stuff. So it's either Amazon or Netflix, and I really don't see Netflix buying like total rights to a project. I just don't see it right now. I don't see it. But as long as Zach is doing business with them, that's always going to be a conversation. So rightfully so. Right. But just more like I just like the Amazon MGM angle.
Okay. And that's the one you're saying it would be like you could see them also doing a justified theatrical release for that kind of because that's just, you know, I was thinking about the other day. I'm like, man, like I just want to see these movies in theater already. You know what I mean? Like like you know, and I think you hit it on the head of the, you know, like when you said it's like we're done with the stream, like, you know what I'm saying, that made sense back then. You know what I'm saying, because you know, whatever, like it was what it was, you know, COVID and you know, all that. So it's like, all right, that made sense.
A good example to that was the DC fandom. Like they did it that 1 year, and they couldn't continue doing it because it was just like people wanted to go interact and meet with these actors and do that. And look, we got Comic-Cons wide open again. You know, my first Comic-Con in Orlando, I actually got COVID, you know, because and it was the first time they opened it. Like, you know, but it was worth it, you know. Yeah, for sure.
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, look, man, that is what that is. You know, so I'm not sure if YouTube is still striking people down for talking about COVID or not. But
my bad.
I feel like a little note on it. We do not agree with any conspiracies under this channel.
But it was cool because I got to meet Jason David Frank before he passed, and then I also got to meet Kevin Conroy before he passed. It was literally that same year.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's one signature I wish I would have. I mean, I probably still could buy something that he signed, but that would have been real cool to meet him.
Yeah. He gave me a little Batman animated series fidget pin. And he signed it. It was pretty dope. I was dressed up as Batman and everything when I went.
Nice.
That's what's up.
Man, that's dope, man. I mean, you know, that's DC for you, man. Like,
yeah, man.
And it's, I guess, you know, this is why if there's a reason why I'm most, I guess, passionate about Zack Snyder's like return to doing DC movies, is because I feel like he actually gets it.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to the brand of DC, like what comes with, you know what I'm saying? Like the real reason DC fans gravitate to DC today.
Yeah.
I don't care about like what DC fans gravitated to DC for, you know, in whatever age or whatever era before my time. But like from 90s going forward, there's a certain formula to DC that just packs more gravitas than your average comic book,
Yeah.
you know, storyline, whatever. And that's, you know, all things Marvel considered. And again, that's respect to Marvel and what they do. But DC just was doing something different. Yeah. And you know that even when you were watching the animated series of these things, like from flipping on to watching Batman animated series and the Superman animated series to then like watching something like X-Men, you know, back in the day, or Avengers, whatever, like two different styles of cartoons, same era, you know? And that at that moment, as much as I loved also seeing like, you know, Iron Man and Spider-Man, the, you know, the Amazing Spider-Man, whatever, all that, I gravitated towards Batman, Superman, more so Batman than Superman, but nonetheless DC, you know, and then everything that came out after that, you know, it's like the movies, you know, or not even after that, but just in that same era, you know, when you're talking about the Michael Keaton Band movies and things of that nature, right? It's that aesthetic, and then once you get into like the Dark Knight trilogy, it took that, but like grounded it to
like
a realistic,
cemented
it, into a realistic world that I was just like blown away. Like, I watch those movies still to this day and get goosebumps. Still, like, man, that's crazy. Just the cinematography, the style of dialogue, the music, the whole tone, everything. And then just seeing how Zach was able to take that and accomplish it with Superman. And when you know, because again, I always say this, it's actually easy to, it's, you know, I don't know if he chose to do Batman or if Batman was given to him, but you know, it's easy to do what Nolan did with Batman. I don't want to say easy, like what he did was easy, like I could do it, but it makes sense is what I'm saying. Like the way he was able to ground that character. And even his villains present the most like realistic versions of them to like really, you know, sell this like, man, this could actually happen. This could be real. You know what I mean? To the point where like it became real. You know, like, and I tell people this all the time. It's literally after the Dark Knight, people were out here dressing like Batman, trying to fight crime like Batman, and then on the darker side of things, you have people out here like Joker and trying to, you know, commit crimes as Joker. That's how realistic and like how just impactful those movies were, right? And so again, it's like it's that to do that with Batman, it makes sense. But the fact that then Zack Snyder comes, like you know, Nolan passes him the baton, and it's like he was able to try and do like that same formula, but with Superman, which is obviously that's not realistic. But he made it the most realistic you possibly can make it, more relatable.
I feel is the best word for that. Like how relatable he made Superman.
Oh, for sure. And then just the real life reactions that existed in that movie. That's you know, it's things like that. You know what I'm saying? Like that. I'm just like, he gets it. And then once you get into BVS. And it's like, all right, now I got to take this character, you know, someone like Batman, and fit him into this storyline. And somehow geniusly, he thought to himself, the best version of Batman that'll make sense in this universe is a Batman that's a lot older, has already been through it. He's got grit. He's fed up. So when he sees this guy, this alien that if he wanted to, can destroy the whole world. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I mean. He gets it. You know what I'm saying? Like he knows what he's doing. Like it wasn't no like, hey, I'll tell you what it wasn't. People might get mad at me for this, but it wasn't no Avengers. You know, we're like, just happen chance all these heroes exist, and then it's just happen chance that somebody has an idea of bringing them together. Like it wasn't just some happen chance things, you know, or like some guy who thought, oh, man, you know, it would be brilliant if I can form a team with all these heroes, you know, like, and somehow get them to work together. Like, and I'm not trying to knock that. Like, it's like, it was the worst idea. But what I'm saying is it's not that realistic. You know what I'm saying? Like the fact that they didn't even really know each other, they just kind of knew each other. Like, you know what I'm saying? Where with Zach, it was like he forces you to see that Superman was forced like into Batman's world, into Bruce Wayne's world, not, you know, because of the gravity of ramifications of what the battle did in Metropolis, you know, things, you know, saying it's like there was consequences there, you know, saying to really react in such a way that would have these guys confront each other, you know what I mean? And then, and even with the mastermind thing, the mastermind tricks of like, you know, Luther, you know what I'm saying, and how he was just the puppet master and all of that, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I mean. Like he gets it, and it's not even just him getting it. It's just that's DC for me. That's what DC became for me. It just became a staple that understands real life dynamics, and how can we include real life dynamics into this fictional world with fictional characters, and do our best to make it seem like these characters can exist in real life, in a real life dynamic setting, because then it forces you to really think about real life dynamics. Like I can see these movies, and like Sil posted up that sequence of, you know, Krypton and Man of Steel. And scenes like that force you to think like, okay, this is a take. There's something happening here politically in the world of Krypton. And there was two factions. There's two different mindsets, and actually three if you think about it. But just but two of them are the main ones, and that's which path are we going to take going forward? Zod's
and which one's right?
Which one's right? Exactly. Which one's yes? You know, so like that's what I mean. You know what I'm saying? Like these movies force you to think these things, and not in a way that like it manipulates you to think certain things, but it forces you to take thought of these certain things that are happening, you know, from again the political landscape to even philosophical, you know, religious landscapes, you know, because the imagery, the dialogue, he'll be a god to them, you know what I'm saying, like things of that, like it's those things that made DC for me, and it's always been that, because again I'm using these movies, but even when you look at those animated series from back in the day, they were doing the same thing, just on a cartoon level. It's kind of actually insane rewatching them as an adult. I'm like, holy cow! Yeah, these cartoons had a lot of adult connotations to it. Is that the word I'm looking for? You know, that as a kid, that shit went over my head. Like, I'm like, holy cow! Like even certain jokes.
It's crazy. It's crazy hearing you say this, because it's funny because I actually had this conversation today, and one of my favorite shows, I'm pretty sure Sil will say that because I always mention it, is Smallville. Like Smallville, I grew up watching Smallville. Like
that's top 3,
you know, and honestly, the first 4 seasons to me are the best seasons of the whole series. The reason why I love those 4 seasons is because exactly what you're talking about. Yes, obviously it's a show about Superman, him being young, him having powers, but his powers came second to the story that they were telling in that show. You got this person who's an alien from another planet, and is showing that he's more human than the people around him. And when you talk about Zach got that and like put steroids into that notion, and it's like, you felt watching that movie that you were Clark, that you were the alien. He made him so relatable, whereas like certain groups you couldn't be a part of, certain groups you couldn't do this. You always felt like the outside people. And for like, that's how that's how it was growing up. You know, for me, you know, I always felt like I was outside of it, you know, like I can never really find that click, you know, and that's why I love, as you see, Superman. That's what he resembles. He's the outsider looking in who wants to just fit in, you know. And man, like having that conversation today, it opened my eyes to what you're saying, Vega. How it's like that's just what DC is. With Marvel, yeah, you got the cool superheroes. You know, you got the Spider-Man. You have Wolverine and all that. But to make those stories interesting, it's all about the powers, the mutants, the this, to that. You're not so very interested into the world than the way you are with DC. With DC, like, damn, sometimes as scary as it may be, I would like to be in Gotham sometimes, like I like to immerse myself in there, or Metropolis, or Central City with the Flash, crazy stuff.
Hey,
So it's
you wanna experience Gotham? Come to Chicago.
Right, yeah.
But you see, but even that, like you automatically can compare it to like an actual city that we live in.
No, for sure.
Where Marvel, it's like you have to get like 4 or 5 cities and smash it all into one. Even though Avengers, yeah, it was in New York, but
pretty much New York. Yeah.
Did you feel like you were really in New York? Maybe in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. Maybe.
That was New York. That was real New York.
Yeah. But
no,
like
sure.
this whole new Marvel thing is like, that world, you don't feel it as much as you do.
That's the unfortunate thing of Marvel, and I say unfortunate because I don't gravitate to that. But there's people that do. But you're right. Mm-hmm. They focus more on the power sets. It's the things that they can do. You know what I'm saying? Like they give these guys like ridiculous amount of power and more power and then more power. But none of them ever struggle with no power. You know what I mean? Like they all have power. They all have to have powers. And those are the characters that everybody draw there. If you're a Marvel fan, that's what you gravitate to. It's like, oh, Thor can do this now, and and then it's like it's these conversations like, oh, Thor would mutilate Batman, whatever, or Superman, and did you not see what he did in this? Like, it's like that's what they're so focused. And don't get me wrong, I like those kind of conversations too from time to time.
Yeah,
but
I would also throw in there like one thing I do like the Daredevil story, like that is more.
Oh, but that's
exactly. I know that's different because that to me feels more like DC than a Marvel show.
This is what I'm gonna say is that when what Zack Snyder did, or even Nolan for that matter, why those films for me personally, because they do what you're talking about in Smallville, and for me, it's not necessarily about this. It's not for me. It wasn't steroids. It's that they just did it more geniusly, like it was just more thought out.
Yeah.
And it goes back to this point because, like, look, there's a fine line between having you think about real life circumstances and then that line is crossed once you're forcing me to think about how you think about these real life circumstances. Like a lot, because like I don't know if you know what I'm getting at, but it's like a lot of shows do that now. It's like the director is having you forcing you to watch their opinion.
Yeah.
And it's some of them.
I think we're losing Vega.
It's a fine line between let's show you both how this thing is being viewed by both angles, all these different situations.
You just froze a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. But is that what it was? Okay.
Yeah, you just
my bad. It's just this Chicago. Like the Gotham spirit of Chicago trying to shut me down.
That Gotham internet.
Gotham's coming for you.
But it's those things. So like when you look at a show like Daredevil, they do a good job of like towing the line. It's like, they're not force feeding you something. Now, granted, like I feel like this new season, I feel like there's certain elements that they're definitely trying to like portray certain things that do exist in now and my wife, but I pull it up. It's like, ooh, okay. Hopefully it catches back on.
Yeah, you good right now.
Am I like slow right now? Am I lagging or something? Just out of curiosity. Okay.
Yeah, you're jumping a little bit for me.
It's kind of sinking
back. The ones that know how to. I'm stopping. Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah. Here we go. It looks like it should be back. But that's the genius of a good. But it allows you to think about it, or about all opinions, about all. Again, I really for Man of Steel, the Krypton thing, because it's like, yeah, there was, those are the two political elements in a sense to look at, and who was right, and but then funny thing is then because then you still have an assembly of elites that also have to plead his case to the to the assembly, whatever, I don't know what it's called, which is a more diplomatic way of going about it, right? Where for Zod, it's like, so I'm just gonna upend your establishment and take over the whole thing.
Zod was revolution. That was,
and again, those are the interesting things.
The people overturning government.
He was revolution, exactly. He was for sure revolution, exactly. But man, that's actually a really good word to use, because then when you look at Jor-El, it was revelation, because it's like,
ooh, that's a bar.
Oh. Well, this is why I need you guys here. Like, I feed off of the comments. And I feel like these are the things I think are worth thinking about. Who was right? Why do you think they were right? And was there another avenue? You know what I'm saying, or things of that nature. You know what I mean? You guys, I feel like that's what you saw out of Zach.
What do you think with that, Carlos?
Huh? Say it again.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, no, he was just saying as far as what we see as far as that, like, because like he mentioned that Man of Steel clip. And I will say, I'll kind of set this up for people. Me and Vega, we talking about doing some more of these conversations for sure, where you take clips like that and you can have like a whole conversation off of different points of views and like the philosophical nature, and the stuff that because that post that I put up, that was the type of conversation I like to strike up, because you can find that messaging and you kind of bring yourself to the conversation too. It's not and most people, if y'all watch my content long enough, it's not about swaying one point of view or not. It's like, no, like I love to have that open conversation, and you may see it differently, and it's like, okay, some people may relate with Zod, saying let's just overturn the government, and power to the people, and then I like that exchange with Zor-El, because Zod is like, they leading us to destruction, which was true. The council was wrong in a sense, and Jor-El just pleading with him, like, just listen to me, like there's a way we could preserve our race, and they're just like, nah. And his eyes, like, he's came in, popping everybody. And then that brief exchange, Zor-El was like, first Zod was like, let's wipe the council away. And it's like, oh, maybe you should. And then, but then Zod was like, let's get rid of the degenerate lineage lines that led us to a path of destruction. And then Joel was like, well, who's going to decide the lines that survive? Like, you going to decide that, Zod? Like, and see, that's that dangerous slippery slope where people's like, oh, revolution, overturn the government. But then it's just like, okay, now are you going to be in the seat now? Or are you going to play God now? Because you didn't like how they were playing God. So it's like, there's a balance there. And then, like Vega was saying on Jarrell's side, Jarrell had the answer, but he's trying to plead with the council, like it's compliance right there, petitioning them. You know what I mean? So that's just that fine line right there. Like which side, I think both sides could have used a little help, you know what I mean, with that. And maybe a little part of us has that revolution spirit like Zod has too. So
to that though, it's like I feel like that was what the message is though. like having the two sides, like they need to come together, but we're always so quick to your point, like to when people don't like certain things, they want to knock it down, but they only see what's in front of them, they don't see what's beyond that. So it's or what comes after the overthrow,
right? So,
yeah.
What's the game plan after that? Like if I hate to put it like this, but like this the chop shop. So hopefully Vega's video is good when I say this, but this may get a little controversial right now. But like you were saying, Carlos, like what's the end game, right?
Yeah.
That day,
I think I have a feeling. I know what you're talking about.
That day when someone tried to shoot Trump, right?
Yeah.
What if you take him out? Then what happens to this country then? Like, do you see beyond the act, right? And again, it's not a because I know people love to say, oh, if you think this, that means you're this. I'll just say it. I am independent. I don't feel like I have to say that, but I'm just going to say that. So I'm more about the policies of things. I'm not married to a party, and again, that's just me personally, but
you gotta at this point.
If you, yeah, right, a little disclaimer for people, but it's like, what is the end game? If you take him out, you know what I mean? And that was the thing that like we always could translate stuff to films and parallel it. And it's like, well, Zod actually did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just happens the world ended when he did that. So it's like that's just those questions, and I don't know if people really are ready for the answers. You know what I mean? They want to be like, oh, upheaval and all this stuff, but it's just like I don't know if you want to know the answer to if you go forward with that.
And to your point, a lot of times, one word, one saying, one speech, of you saying you want to do this, and then you get that one group behind you, and once you put yourself in a spot to where it's like now you have to make a decision. Are you going to do this or are you not? And then I feel like that's kind of what it's touching on your point. It's kind of where we're at right now. A lot of people they're quick to say certain things, and then once they find that group that agrees with them, it's like, all right, we're here, we're gonna do it. All right, are you gonna do it? All right, yeah, all right. I have to go up and do it. But then once you do it, it's like, okay, we did it. Now what?
Right.
So,
everybody wants to label people, put people in boxes, and
right.
I ain't gonna go too far with it because I don't want to get too much on Vegas channel here, but it's just you have conflicts out there, and it's like if you have one certain sort of opinion, they're like, oh, that means you're on their side. You know what I mean? It's just like, bro, like chill, like let's have a human conversation. But maybe we're not when it comes to these heightened situations, like humanity's not ready for those conversations, like Zod and Jarrell, like Krypton, they weren't ready for that conversation that Zod and Jarrell had, right? And that's probably what Zach was kind of doing, like just showing, like
it's more like they're, and I feel like you the reason why obviously I joined Still Nation, part of the group and all that, is because you're not afraid to have these conversations. And I feel like what Zach portrayed in that film is showing, obviously I'm not trying to connect everything back to the government and all that stuff, but it kind of does show that like the government, not that they don't want us to have these conversations. Obviously you just said they're not ready, but it's also more like they're scared to have these conversations because now that means not only do they have to do more work, you know. But now that means, all right, we have to make this better. We have to make a change. And the thing is, they come to the realization that they don't know the answer. They don't know what to do.
And see, at the end of the day, it's like like in reality, the power is in the people. It's just, it's always going to be so much confusion. If it feels like even, you have one side that's, I guess on code or whatever, then there's always going to be some kind of confusion, that kind of, upheaval. So it's just like a never ending, it's a humanity thing, and I think just, our generations, we're kind of, just kind of realizing the climate we're in. And then we're seeing it, like I said, in art, connecting to what Vega was saying, like we're seeing that in the art. And so obviously Zach has asked himself these questions, and it comes across in his work, and that's why I like with Zach. It's not about giving you the answer. It's just, let's just present this.
Think about it,
right? And how does this side see it? How does this side see it? And and that's what art is,
Yeah.
For sure. I'm gonna assume that my video is still delayed, or is it?
No, you're good. I mean,
okay, good right now.
All right. Jeez, because like I said something earlier, and your response was so behind. Oh damn, it's really bad. I'm trying to like shut down like different windows, like like the less windows I have. And now I'm trying to get everybody else off the internet. Now just in case that's what it is.
Yeah, somebody streaming or something like that.
No, for sure. That's
they're watching Zack Snyder's Justice League. That's what they're doing right
now. No, for sure. I know they are. That I literally just texted like, "Hey, I might need you to hop off right quick." But I mean, hopefully, let me know when you guys like see me delayed, but because I definitely do feel like this is what I wanted to say is like, still, you're good. You can talk about whatever you want on here. That's the whole point of the chop shop. Like, I want to dismiss the taboos and the fear and the like we should be able to converse about anything and everything without, or without even caring about the blowback. Because at that point, I guess that's where that's where we are right now. It's like, you're gonna get somebody saying something about you no matter what. Like from our takes about Snyderverse, from our takes on Kendrick and Drake, what I'm saying? From our takes on Celtics or Lakers, you know what I mean? Like that's just where we're at right now, unfortunately. But what I'm hoping is if people can see us having these kind of conversations with no remorse or with just with the open mind and no like not remorse, that's not what I was looking for, but without animosity, it's like we can hopefully encourage others to like, all right, let's talk about it. And because honestly, I don't mind talking about anything. All I ask for anybody who wants to converse about these things is just have some respect, because I'm going to respect you. And obviously between you guys, I know we respect each other enough to, respect each other's opinions, our thoughts about, whatever we have thoughts on, whether it's movies, music, sports, politics, and everything in between. So I will say that, like those are the things that I feel like DC does for me, though, is it has you really think about the consequences of things that of the choices you make. Like if you really, like you brought up the assassination attempt on Trump's life, that had some real ramifications behind it had it actually happened. Whether and when you're talking about that, you're talking about something on a large scale. Like that's not just, dude. You know what I mean? Like that would, like I don't even want to, like, you know what I mean? Like where that could have gone for sure, like crazy. But in retrospect, the fact that he didn't get get assassinated and where it did go, when you look at the ramifications of that, because personally, that could have been what won him the election. You know what I mean? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I'm not saying that that's what it was for sure, but if there was like a defining moment in his campaign, I feel like that was it.
Yeah, that definitely put him over.
You know what I mean? Like I'm like the optics in a sense solidified that which he stands for, in a sense. Like, and what I mean is like that which he campaigns on, right? Not to have anybody think that I'm not trying to talk about the man's. I don't know the man's. You know what I'm saying? I really don't know him. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to pretend like I know what his ideals and morals are. I know he speaks on them, whatever, but I can't pretend to know them. But based on what he talks about, though, I will say that kind of solidified it in a sense of like, and I'll tell you why. Because when he got up, instead of just running away like any normal human being would do when they get shot or shot at, because and that's coming from someone who knows. I've been shot at, and I'll tell you this much: I don't stick around for it.
I'm not standing up myself. And posing.
I run.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. I'm gone.
This ain't happening.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gone. You know what I'm saying? I got stories for sure, but anyways. My whole point is you run, and he had no reason to really stay, but this man has some sort of, because it's not even, look, for me, it's not just about like whether you want to say he was courageous or not. Like, and a part of you has to kind of say, well, maybe he is, because he decided to just stand up and pump his fist in the air and tell his people that he was all right and to fight on. Apart from that, let's just, even that aside, to have the capacity to know that that's what you needed to do in that moment to make a statement is the crazy part, you know, like and that's what I mean when I say is like that kind of, I feel, solidified his whole campaign. Like that, it's not, again, that's not the reason it's not the reason he won. There's actually other things to actually take serious and talk about why he won that I would say the other party just didn't get to why they lost. But
to have that wherewithal, like you said, I mean, and again, it's like Trump is a showman. If we've seen him up to this, before his presidency, so he kind of knows as far as in the moment. But like you said, I kind of wish, because again, I have the luxury, I can look at both parties on this, and I think with the Democrats, that was a moment there that helped, didn't hurt Trump's campaign, but the Democrats, they almost didn't do anything new after that. It was like, well, my thing is, that was their final shot. In more ways than one. But it's like, what are you going to do different? Like, don't, the term gaslighting was highlighted so much during this campaign, because it's like, what are you going to do to counteract that? Don't keep telling me, oh, he's bad. I can see for myself what both sides are doing, right? So just, what are you going to do different? And they relied on this whole anti campaign. I think that's what hurt them more than anything, because if they would have just came out like, hey, this is what we're going to do for this community and this community, and then it's like, okay, maybe we can talk about policies, because that's what I look at. But if the whole thing is, hey, don't like that guy, that's the internet. That's what the internet, like, I've had campaigns against me, so I'm just like, I kind of relate to Trump here, because I've been smeared campaign.
It's crazy. It's crazy because that tactic is what's the saying? You point one finger, you got three pointing back. Oh, so it's like they're trying. They were trying so hard to shift your vision, and it's like, I think in this election, so many people actually saw the realness, what was going around, because of them being, hey, that guy's bad. That guy doesn't know what he's doing. So now you're like, wait, is he really? Or is it really that bad? Or, and then you start questioning the people who are pointing. And then you're like, wait, hold on. But you kind of just did what he just did, but you did it
exactly. It's like, what are you doing then? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So
they rely on people's ignorance in that situation.
100%. No, 100%. But that's funny. I just feel that's what it became because the media has been playing that game for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's almost like not even the fault of the Democrats, but it's their fault because they were stupid enough to think that would work forever. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
At a certain point, people wake up to the reality of it. You know, and you see that with everything. Like that happened with Zack Snyder and his films. You know, eventually people wake up to the reality of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it happened in this case scenario too, where it's like, you know, it's like you can. And again, it's not even. It just wasn't even. It's just the media has been doing that for a while now. Like you see it on all platforms, from ESPN, the way they talk about certain athletes. You know,
I have a good example on that.
Yeah, no, for sure, because somehow it just became no longer about just talking about the sport, but now we're going to start talking about these guys personally, and it's like, what the hell's going on? Like, the hell, you know what I mean? Like, why do I care?
Sil will get a good laugh at this one. I mean, this whole fiasco that's going on with Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James with Bronny.
Oh, silly.
You know, all of a sudden Stephen A. is backpedaling now and saying, oh, you know, Bronny could be one of, you know, the best in the NBA now after having one game. And it's just like, dude, this is his first of all, yes. Did he come into the league early? And I know my sports hat came on, still already knows, you know, night views. But, you know, did he come into the league early? Yes. But he's here. Should he be in the G League? Should he have been in the G League? Yes. He's been doing that. And now you got games like a couple days ago where he's going up against Giannis, and he's driving in the ball, you know, looking like the player that he can be, you know. And the thing is, it's like the scrutiny that this kid has in his first year, it's so out of this world because of who his father is. It's not even his fault. It's not even his fault.
This isn't a normal, and that's what my thing, because I know, like me and Carlos, we talked about this before the season started, and I was like, I don't want the clown show, right? I mean, you know, I'm a Lakers fan, right? So I don't want the clown show, all right? Like, just, you know, let's get out there and ball. Now we got Luka. I calmed down a lot. It's like, okay, I think we good for the next 10 years.
That's an understatement, guys. I'm just throwing that out there. As the co-host of Night Views, that is an understatement. Okay.
And we'll be back. We'll be back probably around football time. We'll see. But with Bronny, I was like, this is impossible. Like, he's already you know, a celebrity because of his dad. I mean, that's just what it is. Like, I didn't get so caught up in it's nepotism, and LeBron's the most powerful sports figure in the world right now. So yeah, his son's gonna have a little extra pressure, you know what I'm saying? And be followed around a lot. You know, this, I mean, just imagine, you know, if Jordan's son came in, you know, when he was with the Wizards, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would, this social media now, but you know what I'm saying? That's how crazy this is, right? So you know, that's one thing with Bronny. So I was like, a target is on his back. I don't want the circus, was my point. If he can't play yet, keep him in the G League, you know, and they were sending him down. And then finally, you know what I'm saying? The problem with Stephen A. and other sportscasters like Vega was saying, or one of y'all was saying, like, they're making it too personal right now.
Yes.
Stephen A. was like, oh, you know, as a father for Brian, like, please, you know, don't put him through this. Like, no, that's the problem right there. Bronny is a story because it's that you can't, you know, put that back, you know, that back in the tube right there. Like,
yeah, because like now
he's already here.
Yeah. And you're now coming at LeBron's parenting skills. Like, and so like you went from critiquing the game to critiquing his, and again, look, here's the thing. This is the only reason why I'm not going to give Stephen A. Smith all the smoke there. And that's that, because unfortunately, a lot of athletes, and especially LeBron, put their personal life out there now. You know what I mean? Where there used to be a cloak of protection between fan and artist, or fan and athlete, you know, where it's like, your private world, whatever, like that's you, your family, whatever, that's all you. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I'm shut out to it. I have no clue what's going on. But and this goes back to the whole social media thing, the way this has changed the game, where artists, athletes, they put their life out there now. They put their thoughts out there, their opinions. They feel, they feel like we want to hear what they have to say about certain things now, and what's the greater morality of things. And it's like, bro, I'm not here to hear what you have to say about that. I'm here to watch you play. Like I don't really, care about what you think about certain things, you know what I'm saying? But, look, that's just me. Now there's a place for everything. And unfortunately, some people gravitate towards that. And so now it's like, even when you say what Stephen A. Smith said, a part of me actually finds it funny. I'm like, man, it's funny and it's entertaining, but it's wrong, but it's still entertaining. It's going too far, but it's still entertaining. And I can see why he said it. I can see why they do it. I can see, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because
now me playing devil's advocate here, right? Again, because I love taking this page out of Vega's book. So to that point, 100%. This is a lot of times, a lot of these athletes, actors, musicians, this is part of your contract. You put your life out there, and that is a part of it. So you are going to get comments like these. You're going to get scrutinized like this. But now to have these type of comments said to you and all this stuff, the fact that you cannot respond the way like LeBron did, how he responded to Stephen A. to something he said, I can see the wrong in it. I'm not agreeing with how LeBron went about that or how he did that, but you can't be surprised. And honestly, you can't be mad at him at responding to Stephen A. the way that he did. Like
the circus, though. That's what I'm.
No, 100%, 100%. That's what I'm saying. I'm not.
Actually, I hate that LeBron did that.
Yes, 100%. I was just going to say that. The issue here is this. And because look, if this was going to be the thing to say that is wrong to do, this should have happened a long time ago.
Oh, 100%.
Where athletes sued newspaper articles, magazines, journalists, whatever.
LeBron should have called Drake. 100%.
Yeah, exactly.
He should have slapped Skip Bayless a long time ago.
A long time ago. This should have happened a long time ago, but it didn't.
But hold on. I don't mean to cut you off, Vega. Okay. To that point, though, Skip kept it about basketball. I believe.
Well, look,
Skip kept it about basketball.
Skip for sure kept it within the lines more often than not, for sure. Definitely a lot more than a lot of these other guys nowadays. But it's not just about Skip. I mean, just overall, like like I'm talking, that's why I said newspapers, because you could find articles in newspapers. You could look at magazines, sports magazines, and that's just talking sports. But like even like the tabloids that talk about artists, like whether it's some sort of singer or rapper or actress or actor, and you got these things that are talking about these people's personal lives. The moment this came,
like Gal and what's her name, the one who plays Snow White right now. That movie is doing, like, I hate to say it, horribly right now. And I had an early screening. I wasn't able to go. A good friend of mine went, and she loved the film. And from people who actually seen the film, I'm getting nothing but everybody loves it. But it all goes back to we just wish that Rachel didn't say certain things that she said on the press tour.
Right.
Same thing with Wicked.
Yeah, same thing with Wicked, exactly. But the thing again is that it's just that the fact that they let it slide a long time ago is the reason it's even more prominent today. That's what I'm trying to get at, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So,
right.
Now, this is where now to Sill's point of like what LeBron's response should have been, or actually should have not been at all. Is because when you even look at the athletes from before that also got shitted on and also were talked about and also were raked through the mud, they just stayed silent. Like, I don't care. Who are you? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm living my life. I'm playing my game. You know what I'm saying? I'm playing the game. I'm you know what I'm saying? I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm making, whatever.
All right.
I'm gonna brush off whatever, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let my life play, take its course, and that's how they would go about these things, right? And that's what LeBron didn't do. And I get, and here's the thing, like I said last time, and I understand that there's more scrutiny now because, again, this social media thing really takes what artists and athletes used to deal with before when it was just the radios, the news, the tabloids. It's that, but like amplified because of social media, right? So I get that the pressure seems more heavy, but not to go back there, but I'm going to have to go back there, and that's that, you know. But when you look at someone like Trump, who's probably the most shitted on, and the way he flawlessly, relentlessly just keeps moving forward, and just, you know what I'm saying? And
100%.
And that's how you handle these things, you know. And then you touch on them when it's the right time. The way, you know what I'm saying?
What's the precedence, right, with LeBron? That's the problem I have with LeBron, because, like you said, if you wanted to check a reporter, you know, since like First Take blew up, right? Like, you know, the last 20, 25 years, whatever, how long they've been doing it, you know, you have all this whole generation to check, you know, Kobe could have swung on people back in the day because his personal life kind of spilled, you know, he's still kind of protected as much as possible, you know, that whole situation in Colorado, you know, and Kobe could have swung on a couple people back then. Probably justified, you know what I mean? Like,
100%.
Stay out of my business, right? So with LeBron doing that again, it's just because like I said, I think we all agree, Stephen A. Whether you say if you're saying it's still in bounds to question LeBron's fathering skill, I don't know if that's still in bounds. You know what I mean? So if we leave it there, though, and say, okay, Stephen A. he's a clown, right? And kind of the streets kind of took care of that. It's like, oh, Stephen A. that was a cornball. That was you kind of, because the thing with social media, you have all that pressure and stuff, you know. And we talked about, like, you know, smear campaigns on people and stuff, and even like with me, you kind of you let the people kind of decide. Yeah, it could be like more attention and, you know, a smearing, but then also there's enough people that will call it out as well too, right? And I think a lot of people had LeBron's back. You know what I mean? For him to be like, oh, you know, let me do this on camera. It's like, bro, you didn't have to do that.
Like that conversation should have definitely happened. Like him walking to the locker room, it's just them two, him pulled aside.
If it was that deep. If it was really that,
if it was that deep, exactly. And I feel like
it's ain't like they were friends, you know.
And honestly,
can we agree that this was and again, I don't mean to cut you off, Vega.
No, you are.
Like, do you think that this was like orchestrated? Like, I believe so. I see a conversation happening with LeBron and, you know, the apology. You know, a whole interview happening with LeBron and Stephen A.
I just don't think. I mean, now Stephen A. will love that because that's ratings for his platform. I don't see LeBron like throwing that alley-oop to Stephen A. like that. Like, I just don't.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's nothing for LeBron to gain there. That's
I
all
don't
Stephen.
see that one.
Yeah. I would say this. What I would say is that LeBron, unfortunately, by saying anything to this and feeling the need to say something, what it did, I think, is solidify the thought of what was being in question, and that's that, which we were all talking about it. So here's the thing: can we really get mad at Stephen A. Smith for saying it when there's things that we're discussing in private, anyways? Or in private and in public. I say in private because we don't have a platform like Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah.
You know, so but we're saying the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're saying we're not necessarily attacking LeBron for it, but we're probably saying, you know, we're saying some things like, you know, it's too early for Bron to be in the league right now. Like, he's
out there like that.
Yeah, you know, we're all saying that. So it's not that far fetched. And maybe there are some that are saying, like, you know, attacking LeBron's parenting skills. And
I'm not saying he's like a terrible father. Like,
I think honestly, though,
that's the thing. Even if you critique his parenting, you're not saying he's a terrible father. What you're saying is you made the wrong decision in this instance of how to go about, like, projecting your son for success. And is there something wrong in that? I don't know if there really is or not. But let's just say there is, right? Because it's like you're not really talking sports anymore. You're a sports analyst.
Right.
That's what you're supposed to be talking about. And that's why you're out of bounds, because you're not a life analyst. You're a sports analyst. Stick in your lane. But the fact that LeBron did react, it just shows that you know that there's truth to what's being said. And that's why
that struck the nerve. All these years, that's the thing that struck the nerve. Not that you can't win and you never be Jordan and all this.
Right. It's not that.
You push your son out there too soon. Oh, hey, that's enough. It's like, really, bro?
And bro? me looking at this as a basketball player myself, like I play basketball and I've coached for a couple years. After seeing that, I think what LeBron did here, and honestly, this could be more in depth of what Bronny asked LeBron to do at this point. Stephen A, we've seen stories like this, maybe not this in depth, or judging someone's character in parenting, but back in the days with Allen Iverson, they had a falling out, and then they had to come back together and sit down and talk about it. I feel like what LeBron did by doing this, again, I was never the one like trying to say that, LeBron had a right to do this. I think LeBron should not have done this because he took away that moment for Bronny to have a game like he had 2 nights ago against Giannis and prove Stephen A wrong. Because that's the type of reporter Stephen A has been for his career. He's going to say some outlandish stuff because he wants to poke that bear. He wants you as a player to come out and be like, prove me wrong. I called you daddy's boy. I called you a little boy who doesn't know what he's doing in the NBA. Come out here and do it. Which is why I didn't mind Stephen A's stuff. What I didn't like was the aftermath of all this situation. Him going on every single podcast, and this is the number one conversation he's having, which for him, he's loving it. He's getting, like Sil said, he's getting these ratings. Every question is, how did you feel about when LeBron came up to you? You sat there and did nothing. And now he's acting like he's a gangster, like he's going to run up on LeBron. But really, he's just talking behind the microphone. But looking at it as a reporter standpoint, he was literally trying to get greatness out of a player in Bronny by doing that. And LeBron robbed his own son of his own greatness. I feel like LeBron sometimes needs to let things happen.
That kind of overshadowed, because like you said, like if LeBron would have just laid back and like just let everybody talk, just like, again, LeBron's been doing this his whole career. I give this to LeBron. I mean, again, being a Lakers fan, we do have our rankings of like LeBron's not Mount Rushmore for Laker fans, real Laker fans, but I respect his service with my team, right? But so it's like,
it sounds like the military.
But what he's done his entire career, LeBron's laid back and let people talk. When he choked in different finals and things like that, and so with his son, you're overshadowing the story now because now Bronny stepped up. Now he only do this like once a month, Bronny, but it's like that was actually his moment where everybody's like, oh, okay, he had totally different energy. Yeah. And now in a weird way, is that what sparked Bronny? That man, now everybody's on my dad now, and then he's just like, man, F it, I'm just gonna go out and just play. You know what I mean? No matter what happens. And so who knows? It's like the chicken or the egg thing, right? But it's like just the point. That's the energy we wanted to see from Brian. Everybody that watches the game, we wanted to see Brian just come out and just show some confidence, bro, because you did not show it at all except in the G League. Yeah. Right. And if that's what this took, then I guess we'll see. At the end of the day, Bronny, is he a real starter and stuff like that? I mean, that's still to be determined. But he's here, and this is a new norm, or this is an anomaly. And
it's an anomaly, for sure.
It's just we're just dealing with it. You know what I mean? No one knows how to really quantify. Like,
and to your point, like with LeBron, like and Bronny at that standpoint, there's never been that father-son in the locker room. So you already know what is already being said in the locker room. So like to hear all this, you hear I to me personally, I think this was a Bronny move, like saying, like, Dad, I can't believe this guy's saying this. Da, 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 da. That's why LeBron, he felt like he was put in a corner. He did that. But the response should have been Bronny just coming out playing.
Well, you know what? I don't know. I don't know if it was Bronny. I think it was all LeBron, dude. I think it was all LeBron. And I say that just because, again, it's an attack on his choices, which is it's the story of his life, like his whole career. It's we're questioning his choices, from him going to Miami, putting up the super team together like that. That what I'm saying, like all his choices, it's what it is, right? And now here we are again. Then he goes to the Lakers, whatever, same thing. Like he pussy or no, I think he went back to the Cavs, whatever. Then Lakers, whatever. But again, it's this is super teams. He can't do it by himself. He chooses to bring all these guys, right? And that's the story so far. And then now it is here you are, and you took it upon yourself to forego your son earning this,
right?
Truthfully, like every other player does, and you just brought him into the league. You know what I'm saying? Like, without really like, allowing him to skip certain, things that you have to do to actually get picked up. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? And noticed and things of that nature. You know what I mean? So like the reality is it's actually not to be determined whether he's a starter or not. It's just you're really not. You know what I'm saying? Because you robbed your way there thanks to your father. So it's the heinous is not really on Bronny, it's on LeBron. Like, because you're the adult, you're the father, and and again, I get the argument made, like, wouldn't you do the same? But I don't think I would. I don't know. I don't think I would, because if you're really that good, you'll make it. And if you're not, this is what you should have done to set your son up for success. Hey,
that's the problem. That's the problem. It's like, because you're comparing this to every other situation. That's the anomaly right there. Like, what are the chances of this? That's why I compared to, like, Jordan. He was the only one that could have got away with this before, just forcing his son into the league. You know what I mean? And it's like that's I'm judging this off of, like, influence level, and it's beyond should he have, you know what I'm saying?
Well, it happens.
I think it's beyond that.
No, for sure. But I guess the reason why I'm saying the everything we're talking about, from, like, this whole scenario existing, is LeBron's choice. And that's what I'm really talking about, right? Like, this is why LeBron said something, is because it once again attacks him. So, like, it's people are attacking him, and Stephen A just had the balls to say it, I guess, about his choice. This time it just happened to be that his choice was about his son. You know what I'm saying? And him thinking that it's okay to do that when it really wasn't. Like, if we're just going to be honest, like, that doesn't give you Father of the Year award. If you're really trying to set your son up for success, legitimately, you should have been also helping him figure out what other avenues he has to take if he's really not a great great enough basketball player to be picked up by teams of their own accord, to be picked up into the NBA of their own accord. Like, not because LeBron asked us to, but because we saw Bronny, and we're like, this kid's got it. He's not his father, but he's got it.
The thing also with Bronny too, and this is just, again, me being a sports fan, like, he's, for one, last season of his college career, he came off of that heart situation. So with this being his rookie season, we need to remember he is a rookie. There's really no rookie unless you're, like, top number one, and even the number one rookie right now is having these games where, like, what's the dude that's on your team, that is, like, he's swimming in roses right now because
Connect.
all the Connect, because of all the attention that Bronny's getting. He's balling, and because the pressure's off of him. So it's like everyone, reporters, fans, like, we need to remember that Bronny is a rookie, and he has signs, but it's just what comes with the name at that point.
For sure. But, and again, that's the clown, that's the circus of it all, right? Like, his name shouldn't matter in all this, honestly. It's, are you a good ball player? Or are you not? Do you belong there or not? What sucks is that you got put there regardless whether you were worthy of it or not. That's what sucks. Like, but again, it's the anomaly, and it's happened. There's nothing we could do now but go forward and see what happens. But again, we still have to be honest about what did take place. And again, I'm not Stephen A. Smith, so I'm not a sports analyst, so I feel I can say these things, and that's that. If I was LeBron, I'm a man who prides himself on honesty and integrity. So in the end of the day, it's like, son, you have to earn this. But like, hey, if you don't earn it, you're okay in my book. You're still, you know what I'm saying? And I'm going to help you figure out what else could we do? And honestly, that's part of that's the advice every athlete should be getting, is that when you go into sports, you can't have all your eggs in that basket. And you've heard a lot of superstars say this. Kobe even said this, like in one of his like interviews later on in his career, like once he was retired, like he was trying to set up programs to help athletes figure out how to really go forward in their careers. And I mean, and there's like a few athletes that have done it, like had this discussion, because unfortunately, a lot of these athletes get into sports, get into these things, even on the college level, and they put all their eggs in this basket. And for those who make it, good. But even then, you still got to do your due diligence to prepare another something on the side in case something goes south, and you have to like do something different.
Yeah. It's just, I guess, overall, it's like, because like I'm saying, the whole anomaly thing, like, I'm at peace that, hey, this is just that special privilege thing. I mean, this happens like in any business around the world, any Fortune 500 company. If your dad's the CEO, he's going to make sure his son has a position. That's just what this was. The whole fairness thing, I can't really, what I would do, I think like in, hindsight, and then I think 20 years from now, I think Bronny probably would have wished he did on his own merits, like, or kind of showed something, if that was me and that was my son, I'd be like, okay, you had the heart thing, the heart scare. I mean, that was scary enough. Take your time, take the next season, get into the tournament, and have fun in college, you know what I mean? And then wherever you're drafted, you're drafted. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I would have wished Bronny would have did, just, have your season. I mean, again, we all crossed out last season because we knew the health scare. Yeah. So this year, do your best in college. I think he would have been a starter in college. I'm pretty sure. And then just see what you do. And then they probably still would have drafted him if he wasn't a top pick. Oh, you know what I mean? What's crazy? That's where they rushed it. That's my point.
Yeah, and what's crazy is too is obviously I'm a Heat fan. Seeing the relation of yeah, I heard that. I'm gonna let it slide. But it's all good. We gonna keep going. We gonna roll right past it. D Wade, seeing D Wade and his son, Zari, he made it to the league, but he never got past that G League. Why? Because he I feel like he rushed it. He did 1 year in college and he went straight into the league. As close as D Wade is with LeBron, as close as his kids are together, they're friends. Bronny should have used that. LeBron should have used that experience. As a basketball player, you see that. You should know that. Like, you are the guy. LeBron knows what comes with the game. I mean, it could be LeBron is looking to retire maybe by the end of the year, end of the season. He's done with it. I don't know. Maybe that's why they rushed it. But I just think, it's to Sil's point, definitely he should have waited. And we would be having totally different conversations, because he has flashes of a NBA star, or he can be an NBA star, but you can still see the youthfulness in his game that he still doesn't know yet. You can tell he doesn't properly know the game of basketball. So yeah.
Right, but if he come out the way he just played that last game, like, that's all, again, from a Lakers fan perspective. First off, we sat down like 8 people. Okay, so that's the reason why he was out there playing. So
right, exactly my point.
Real. He don't really get minutes for a reason, and so. But when you get that chance going forward, Bronny, just all I'm saying is just bring that same effort, and maybe you can crack rotation next season. Like we're again at the end of the day, we're still talking about this is a bench warmer in this league.
Right.
And you know, he needs to whatever opportunity. Like that's why I respect the Lakers organization that they're at least not forcing them into the lineup. They are saying they're like 5 guards better than you on the team. And so, you know, just when he gets his opportunity, that'd be great to see. Hopefully he's in summer league next year because I don't think he was in summer. Was he in summer league? I think he was in summer league this year, and he did terrible actually this past summer. But
yeah, he played one game. And then health reasons.
He played a couple.
Yeah,
but next summer I want to, you know, let's. This is a story now again because of his name. Like that's what I'm saying to people. Like we do have to just embrace that this is going to be a story. Like just
100%.
And I just want to see him get better. That's all.
Well, he has to.
Vegas frozen on his laugh when he was laughing when I said I was a Heat fan. That's crazy.
Nah,
I'm frozen on your end.
Yeah,
no.
Oh man,
are you still frozen? No.
Damn, that's crazy. I got bad Wi-Fi for sure at this point. That's you know, that's just what that is. Jesus.
It's the Celtics Wi-Fi. It's okay, man. It's all good.
That's that Gotham Wi-Fi, man. No, yeah, I think that's the thing is that LeBron, he just has to. Now he has to like you know, just every minute he gets, he has to play. He has to play with it, you know, with everything on the line. Like, you know, here you are. A lot of people don't agree with it, but you are here. You know, that's it. You know, and then you just got to now make the most of every minute you play. You know what I'm saying? And make it count. Make it count. Because if not, then it'll all be for nothing. You know, and don't take it for granted either. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I just hope. I mean, yeah, like you said, the Lakers at least have the sense of like, all right, you're not the best guard on the team, so you know what I'm saying? You'll get there hopefully, but you're not right now. And until you are, you know, well, you know, and I imagine if he never does, and you know, LeBron is long gone, then they'll probably give him the boot.
He'll be gone through with LeBron.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So
we ain't got no more room here.
What's crazy is I can see Bronny excelling on the Wizards, honestly. Like I think that should have been the route, you know, going on a team.
Like I said, I think he could make a rotate. Like again, just what he showed. I don't think he's not in a rotation for this team. This team, and you know, I think when LeBron,
especially getting with Luka,
we got too many guards that's just clearly better than him. But I think he can crack like a 9-10 man rotation somewhere in the league.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think what this will also tell is like, can you just go into the league and if you play it long enough, it even if you're not at the level you're supposed to be entering it, you'll get to the level you need to be once you've experienced it. And up to this point, it's kind of proven like that's the case, but it's hard to tell too, though, because like you said, he's not getting. It's not like he's getting a lot of minutes either, so it's not like it's not much to really grab. You know what I'm saying? And say like, oh man, he's, you know what I'm saying? So honestly, he should get traded somewhere else. They should trade him somewhere else and somewhere where he'll get a lot more playing time. And we'll actually, I don't know, you know, we'll see.
Yeah, like I say, I think they'll play like LeBron. LeBron probably play 2 more years. Then when he's done, you know, they'll let Bronny go somewhere and you know, go do his thing.
I think what's an interesting conversation to have too is in that notion, all these kids that are still in college and are seeing this unfold in front of everyone's eyes with this NIL deals and being able to get paid while you're in college. Do your 4 years. 4 years should be mandatory now for you know, just college sports in general when it comes to men, because you know, me and Sil, we used to cover a lot of the WNBAs, and when they left college, they cannot leave without doing 4 years of college. They have to do 4 years of college.
Yeah, it's a rule.
And I feel like that impacts the league not only competitive wise, but like just in general. Like it has a structure where you belong here when you get here because you did the work to get here. Not just like, oh, you had one great season, you went to the tournament, you lost the tournament. Oh, but I'm gonna get drafted. You know, it's all good. No, man, you're able to make your money. Right. You know, you can make your money in college now.
Oh,
you should work at your game.
That's true.
So
that's, you know, and that's also like, again, that goes back to, I feel like those things where it's like, you know, what are you gonna do to when facing whatever system's in place, like, are you going to either like fall in line? Are you going to bring change about the right way, or are you going to just say, "Oh, well, it's a whack out system, so I have no part in it whatsoever. I'm not even going to deal with it." The fact that something like that changed. When did that change? Like what? Like what was that? Like?
I want to say this is the third year that they have fourth year now that they have these NIL deals. We're getting paid.
Oh, as far as NIL, it's like second or third year,
yeah.
So and how long has that? How long has the NCAA been like an institution?
Yeah, for a while.
I don't know how far that goes back. Yes,
and the thing is with that too is that this is the first time where the likeness of a lot of these players, their name, their play, like now they're getting paid for that. Like this is something that's never been done. That's why they have the transfer portal now, where you have certain players who, which I don't really agree with, but you have certain players that they go to one school, they're getting their deal, but they're getting offers to other schools to get paid more and to start. So it kind of, it's already happening in the college standpoint.
It has to be some kind of regulation, with that, because you're going to have some schools that has more, more donors or whatever, than other schools, and that can get kind of crazy. But I mean, hey, I think I'm fine with this whole. It's kind of wild, wild west now with college NIL because they never been paid. You know what I'm saying? And but it's got to be some kind of regulation where I don't know if it's saying force them 4 years. But maybe more college stars, and we'll see like in the tournament here, maybe like they feel they're real close with this team and they're making $1 million in college. Like, do I force my way into the NBA, probably get $3 million, which is better than more than $1 million, or stay in college and maybe get $2 million next season. You know what I mean? Like I think if they could find a way to incentivize them, because there's some I don't know if y'all caught any of the college games. The men's style, because I watch the women's college more than men's right now. Because you have that continuity with the men's. It's like you'll see a team 1 year, and then it's just like, okay, it's like a totally different starting five, and it's like you can't really, you know what I mean? I grew up like on a Fab Five, in Michigan. It's like, they're running every year. You had UNLV over here, and you had Duke, Christian Laettner. You know what I mean? We don't have that. And so that's hopefully that's something they can fix.
I think because with the women, I think with their NIL, it's also what's tied in is the years that they play. So kind of like, I mean, the best way I could explain it's almost like an NBA contract. You sign for this amount of money, but in that amount of money, you have to play a certain amount of years for this, for this team. There is no like, trade clause or this. Nah, it's like, okay, you're signing here. You got to play for these years while you're in college. And I think maybe if they implement that with the men, it could spicing things up. But I mean, I think it all starts with like players like Cooper Flag, who are like deciding he could have easily been a first round pick this season. Cooper Flag. And he's like, no, I want to go, I'm making my money. I want to go back with my squad and go try to win the tournament. It takes players at that caliber to decide to do that and stay in the NCAA.
Yeah, he can actually help the system if Cooper Flag. I think he hurt his ankle like a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
But it's like, what if his team falls short? And it's like, if you come, we're running back next year, we'll probably be the clear-cut favorite to win it all. You know what I mean? So players like him could kind of tip the scale where it's like, hey, let's, hype up college a little bit, a little bit more.
If I was NCAA, I would talk with him and like try to make a deal. Like, yo, like let's put you. Don't sue me. That's why I'm saying it. Cooper Flag, don't say I'm saying it. All
right. Well, I mean, I would say like as far as like them regulating anything of that nature, is that even a thing? Seeing that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't most universities or colleges, for that matter, private enterprises?
I guess it's classified that way. Yeah.
You know, so like, how do you regulate that? You know what I mean? Like,
what they would probably try to do is like the funding, TV contracts and stuff that the universities have. That's through the banner of the NCAA, and all these universities are like members of it. So it's like they can mess with, like, they can regulate like their overall piece of the pie.
like,
you know what I mean? So like I said, there's ways they could really work with that. But the individual universities, as you see right now, they can do whatever they want right now, paying whoever they want to pay individually, just like giving out scholarships. No one can tell them who to give a scholarship to.
Right.
But overall, like I said, that where they could regulate stuff, they could be like, well, okay, you know, if you go over this much spending to your players, then this is going to affect your TV contract with the NCAA or something, you know, something like that. They could regulate that way because you want that TV money.
Exactly.
More than anything, you know, overall. So there's definitely ways to do that, but I mean, hey, that's, you know, that's for them to figure out.
Right. No, for sure. Man, let's see. With trying to find a good way to segue. I'm trying to find a good way to segue this.
Bronny threw everything off.
As per usual.
Bronny, damn you, Bronny. Your existence. Damn you, your existence.
This whole circus, man.
No, I wish him the best. I wish him the best, man.
That's crazy. I like how we even stumbled upon that too. It's like, that's crazy.
Well, you know what it was? We were talking about the smear campaigns, I think is what it was, and then we got into the whole like conversation between LeBron and Stephen A. Smith. But you know, maybe I'll try. We could try ending it on this note. Because overall, I feel like this is an issue I'm seeing all across the board, right? And that's that there's like a divide, you know, between people. Whether, like I said, and it's just it happens to just it's more prominent and it exists within anything and everything from sports to movies, obviously, like, you know, franchises, IPs, and things of that nature, to apparently hashtags, to, you know, to like who's your favorite artist, and you know, and then even politics, right? Like, oh, he's a Democrat, oh Jesus, or oh, he's a Republican, oh man, you know, and it's like I don't even want to ask like since when has this been, because it's already been for too long that this is already the norm. And I guess my thing is like I'm trying to figure out like how can we make it where it's not the norm anymore, like or where the norm is that we understand we have difference in opinion, and maybe we have different methods, or maybe we have different ideals, you know, whatever. But how can we at least still converse with one another in a mutual and respectful way, where we can at least let the ideas flourish with one another, like let it actually like fly the other way, land, you know, easily, and, you know, all right, take it for what it is, and then if you have something, you know, let it fly in the other direction, but like, you know, then let that instead of like shooting down these idea and, you know, moral airplanes before they can even like land on your platform, you know, stand on your runway to possibly give you something you know you needed to know or don't know, you know, because I just feel like that's the issue I'm seeing just everywhere, you know, like it's like you know, and I guess my social media, like, and it's social media for sure, but I guess it's like, but like you said, like Bronny's situation, it's an anomaly that it's already here. Social media is here; it's not going anywhere.
Right. What
can we do to like? Again, make it normal to like, all right, look, everybody's business is out there. We all know each other's, you know, businesses, politics, movie choices, you know, artist choices, whatever the case may be. It's out there now. We all do that.
All right.
Where's,
I think having conversations like having conversations like this on different platforms, I think normalizes it. People get too emotional like just during this last election run. Like it was people that just was crashing out over everything. I'm just like, bro, like let's if we can't even talk, just candidly, you know what I mean? It's just like I don't like you said, like is that the norm? I think that's just going to be a thing, but like to normalize, like to just having open dialogue, I think helps. And because like you said earlier, Vega, like no matter what we say, someone is going to take offense to something or take it some kind of way or call you anything. Like Carlos thought it's like I've been I cover all DC, so. Right. If I comment something under like you got the DC Film News account, shout out to them. They doing they do a good job posting everything DC. So at times I will comment under there, and I think like it'd be something really general too, like they're going to screen Superman or something. I'm like, oh, looking forward to what they say about it. Then someone will comment, "Shut up, you're a Snyder cultist." I'm like, bro, like, I'm talking about James Gunn Superman. Like, why are you so upset?
Why you even bring up Snyder? When we talk about this film.
But I mean, my platform, it just when now it's like when people see Celeb Duel, they think of the whole Snyder run, that built my platform. You know what I mean? But it's like I was just showing people like, hey, you can like other stuff too. It's okay. Mm-hmm. You can actually do that and be normal, but you're gonna have those people that's crashing out. But it's like what's funny, just to kind of finish my initial point, with Trump getting into office in a weird way, because before then you had like this whole cancel culture and things like that, and it's like with him like not getting assassinated and getting into office. And people's like, oh, he's a felon, he's this and that. And I just want to say briefly out there, like those that think that's a flex, calling someone a convicted felon. Like I got people in my family that's convicted felon. Like that's not a flex to be like, oh, he's a convicted felon. Like F this dude. It's like, so what? Like F my family too. Like anyone that got a felon, like F them. Right. Like chill. They need to chill out on like just making this like us or them thing. It's just really weird. But with Trump in office, like in a weird way, it kind of calmed down this cancel culture, this undercurrent of like, if you say one wrong thing, like, oh, send the mob. Because like if they didn't stop that dude, it's just like, okay, like maybe all this, these smear campaigns don't work after all. You know what I mean? And you don't have to fear the mob, anything you say. So just like I said, in a weird way, like that kind of helps that whether you like the dude or not. And again, I'm speaking from a standpoint where I've been a target of stuff, so it's like I know just in a smaller scale, I know how it feels to be like in the scope of things, and just people just saying just wild shit. It's like, bro, like you don't even know me, you don't even and just lying blatantly. So that is, but like I said, just I feel that normalizing, but I think this is like the climate now. It's in a weird way. This is the climate that we can kind of normalize just open dialogue.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because like that's kind of like the what I'm gathering is like, man, just like if we talk about this, maybe we normalize it, and I think the more we talk about it, and I say that just because, like I said, again, it's like you see it everywhere. Like there's people just get upset over the craziest things, and then if they feel they're like on the opposite side of whatever you, I guess, subscribe to, whatever it may be, there's like this immediate tension that at least it seems like many are feel the need to like attack, like, so, and like for instance, like I don't know about you guys, like even on my feed, I like occasionally I'll see like and this could be anywhere. Like sometimes it's Twitter or X, whatever, and then sometimes it's like on YouTube or whatever. But like you'll even see like people that are like scratching up Teslas or even now like these Tesla bombings, and that's just crazy to me because it's like I'm like
That shouldn't be normal.
That shouldn't be normal is my whole point. And then you have like media covering it like it is, you know?
Yeah.
But I feel like this has been an issue even since Trump's presidency, like the first one, where there was like this, I don't know, like this weird, and it goes back to that gaslighting thing. There was like this weird like way that the media would cover things that just made it seem like certain things were normal while other things weren't.
Yeah.
And then like the things that were like supposedly normal were like far worse than the things that weren't, you know, like, and it's just like, I feel like some people just buy into these things, is I guess what I'm saying. Like you buy into narrative so easily. And this is on everything. I'm using this because I feel like in politics, it's exploded the most, unfortunately, you know, where, you know, difference of opinion and I guess philosophy or ideals or whatever you want to call it, ideologues, it seems that it's blown up out of proportion here the most, and probably because it's probably what's been covered the most in the past decade, and probably more so. Look, I say these things as an observer, not because I'm like fanning out over the guy, but the reality is they made Trump what he is. You know what I mean? Like, the media covered him so much that that was all that was being talked about. And then when he
was already a big personality, that's the thing. That's what makes that like,
and that's what made that so easy. Yeah, for sure. He was already a big personality. He already. You know, which to me was what was funny about it, because I'm like, man, like all these years, this guy was known for like the Celebrity Apprentice and things of that nature. You know, you see him in all the movies and
rap videos.
And it was cool. Like everybody seemed to like fuck with the dude. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden he ran for president. It's like, and all those, it was like,
kill him.
It's weird, like smear campaigns and
like, whoa,
yo, what's going on? Like. And it's a person for me, that was kind of like, I'll be honest, that was like my wake up call to like, hold on, wait, what's going on here? Like, I was never really into politics like that, honestly. Like, you know,
that just told me not to get too attached to one side. Like, no matter
no, 100%.
How how you grew up or how your family grew up, I was just like, okay, this is like some gangster shit at this point. Like,
it's crazy your comparison, and you know the DC fan of me is gonna say this, but it's kind of like when The Rock was trying to, you know, be the head of DC. Everybody loved The Rock, then all of a sudden he did Black Adam and wanted to do that, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, you know, cancel The Rock, The Rock. You know, it's
and that's but that's what I mean. It's like, it's weird that people have this like notion that, you know, and I don't want to, and I'm not saying that to be like offensive. I'm just, again, I'm saying this to just point out something that I'm observing. And it's weird to me that there's this notion that you got to make someone your enemy just because you disagree with whatever it is you disagree with, whether it's their politics, whether it's their whatever opinion they have. And that's not a healthy way to go about these things. And how can you even expect, like, I can't even imagine like living my life if everything that I disagreed, you know, I took personal. You know, like,
I mean,
you know what I mean?
Can we agree like blowing up Teslas is not okay? All right, like let's,
I think
people got to be
I
honest about that.
And what you know what's funny though about that is just that when Tesla first came out, everybody was like, oh, electric cars, you know, like this man's really concerned, you know, like
it's American made.
Yeah, it's American made and awesome, whatever, this guy's great. You know, not talking about Musk. And it's like, and again, I'm not one to worship anybody like that. I just don't do that. I don't just immediately like, oh, I grovel at the feet of this guy but like, you know, was it something to take note of? Oh, sure, for sure. I'm like, man, this okay, pretty dope. All right, cool. I wasn't interested in electric cars. I'm still not interested in electric cars. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really care. But
definitely not getting one of those now.
Yeah, right.
Like get a gun or something.
Even now, to like if I were to get one, like now I got to worry about some lunatic keying my car. You know what I'm saying? And possibly blowing it up. Like, geez, which is just crazy to me. Like that's the part that's crazy to me. It's like you're damaging someone else's property. He probably bought this Tesla. Yeah, and they probably bought this Tesla like before this whole thing kicked off. And but even if you thought that, oh, this guy's bought this Tesla now and he's a supporter of money, like, and you think it's okay to key his car because of that, like,
blow it up, okay?
Blow it up.
But
Yeah,
here's another thing to that though, Vega. Here's another thing to that, and
crazy.
to those people who are doing that, I can 100% tell you that they don't even care what side is what. They're doing it for a reaction. And I feel like
that too. There's that too.
Our society, our generation, or whatever you want to call it, of these people, that is what it's about. It's about picking sides. And I think it goes back to the saying of the United States, which is we the people. Now it's they the people or us the people. It's not we the people anymore.
Yeah, us or them. That's what they draw that line, and people are taking it so personal. Now they're bringing it like into their personal lives. And like I commented on something where the Democrats, I'm just saying, they're like leaning into, let's take down Tesla. And I'm just like, bro, like, do you see what they're doing out there? And so I commented like, violence isn't the answer here. And then someone comments, well, MAGA does the same thing. I'm like, bro, I don't give a F what side. Like, you can't blow up people's cars. Like,
so one does it, it's okay for the other to do it. Like, what are we talking about?
I don't care what your opinion is. Like, I think, my opinion, Elon, I think since he's so close to the administration, I don't think he should be tweeting every day. I'm like, Elon, kind of keep some of your opinion, because it's the perception now of you. Like, just chill out. You know what I mean? He's tweeting about everything.
Well, here's the funny thing about that, though, and this is why it's like I find it funny sometimes, because like we find ourselves in these scenarios where it's like when the door's shut and nobody's telling you anything about what's government doing behind closed doors, you're upset. Mm-hmm. Now that it's open. And like
you're upset.
open, and it's getting tweeted out and whatever you would comment, you know what I'm saying? Now, these should have never done. And it's like, well, which one is it? Like, do we want to see what's happening? Do we want to see how the sausage gets made or not? You know what I'm saying? Like, do we want to be able to like understand the frame of thought to what brought them there in the first place? You know what I'm saying? Like, so for me, I personally don't care whether he tweets or not. And here's the thing, like, it's not like he's actually in government. He's just like a third-party entity doing something for the government. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like, it's not like he's actually the government.
No, he's hired to do a job like any other administration.
Just the same way, in the same way they hired X, you know what I'm saying, SpaceX. Or is that what it's called? Right? It's his
that's one of his
he has SpaceX and right now, like me personally in my job, like we're installing Starlink.
Starlink, there you go. That's the other
it's the new internet that pretty much you can have internet no matter where around the world, that now even cell phone companies are putting it a part of their business. And it's like, these are things that are like changing the world. And I get it, people have different views on different things, but like to straight up just criticize, something just because they're not on the same political platform as you. It's like how is that making the world better?
Well, I'll put it like this: criticize all you want, all you want, but like don't take it further than that. You know what I mean? I think that's the thing. Yeah, like, criticize all you want, but I'll say this: if you're gonna criticize, and here's my biggest thing when it comes to this, and this is why, like, even when it comes to the chop shop, my thing is like, whatever I'm saying here, whatever we're saying here, like, I'm okay if you have a different viewpoint. I'm okay if you challenge me on whatever I'm saying, and even when I say the word challenge, it's not like challenge, but like, no, like you're like, you're bringing a different awareness maybe to a situation that I may have not thought of,
right? A different topic
in that way, right?
Yeah.
But my whole point is like, so if you're gonna criticize, though, you kind of put yourself out there to hopefully be able to accept and receive. Not blowback in the sense of like you should be attacked for it, but like maybe like an open debate if that's what you're kind of like putting out there, or an open dialogue, not even debate, but just a dialogue.
About like actuals, not name calling, like, oh, he's a Nazi. He's
right, like, exactly, like actual dialogue.
Just like calm down and talk. Like, okay, what don't you like that he
said? Still turns blue talking about this, but how people just be talking in straight memes. He hates that shit.
Yeah, it's no conversation. Like it's that same account.
Yeah.
They would jump on my threads, and I'd be like, what do you disagree with? And they threw a meme. I'm like, can you just use words? Like, is everything a meme on social media, bro? It's like, I can't conversate with you, bro. Like, him, and then he does like this weird meme. I'm like, bro, I'm about to block you. I'm about to just block you. I'm just saying, bro, just talk to me.
It's
man,
crazy.
Dude, that's
it's crazy.
so funny, bro.
And Vega, to your point earlier, you said like, what are some things we should do? And I think one of the big thing is not letting fear take over. And what I mean by that is like not letting the fear of having these conversations, be had. Like it's okay to have a different view on things.
Yeah, for sure.
Like there shouldn't be, oh, I like this, so I can't talk about this with someone. And I feel like, your platform, the Chop Shop, Sill's platform, they're so small, but there's other platforms out there that it's okay to talk, to say what you're feeling. And it's getting to a point to where like people just are saying things that they don't even feel just because they don't want to be scrutinized. They don't want to be yelled at. And it's like
they're supposed to say it or not say something.
Or like for instance, like, you say like, oh, I want to see this certain movie. And, you're afraid to even say that you want to see this certain movie because the blowback,
Bro, no, it's like on my platform alone, again, people know, my platform grew because leading up to the Snyder Cut coming out and obviously teaming up with Mikey, Gigosity, and then I started getting my own scoops, and it's like just different levels in my channel grew. So I was synonymous, with Snyderverse. So as soon as I was like, hey, I'm going to cover, like what is the behind the scenes with Gunn last summer, it blew up my second channel. Like it just it did great, that coverage. But then you had people, some of my fellow Snyder fans like I cheated on them or something. Like, oh, so
Sill betrayed Sill.
You gonna cover other DC stuff? I was like, bro, like what get the fuck off my channel, bro? What you talking about, bro? Like, what do you mean? Like you just cheated on them or something? But it's just like, I saw a lane with that, where and again, I think people understand my vibration with that. It's funny that Vegas like frozen that way. but you're frozen with your head down. It's funny. But it's like, but it's just like people know how I rock at this point. Where it's like I'm gonna cover like if it's a lot to talk about with Snyder, then you're gonna see that's what my content is focusing on, and my main platform is for that. Now, if there's news over here, I got other platforms now where it's like I can, again, tap into the audience. So it's like I think people kind of catching up now to what I'm doing. But like you're saying, Carlos, like not having that fear of like, oh, I'm gonna be canceled, or like it erases everything I've done before this point,
man.
And one final thing with people saying with this political thing, that again, this open dialogue is great because people want to like think for you as well. And it's like leading up to this election, they're like, when I was like, hey, let me see what this policy Trump talking about. I think he's talking about like waiving income taxes. Ooh. If you make like under a certain amount, I'm like, I'm definitely in that bracket, not making this much. So I would love to have my taxes wiped out. And people was like, oh, so so you support racism? I'm like what?
I support my pockets.
What? Wait. Make that make sense to me, please. Hold on.
It was like, oh, you want to take a benefit from Trump, so now you just racist to it. I'm like, bro. And it's crazy the leaps people take because like they were saying just with different policies, and I'm just like, bro, like first of all, that's just weird to say to me to a Black American, like that's kind of weird, and for them to be like they want to be offended for you towards him. Oh, and it's like, nah, like just live your life. I have enough information, to deal with it.
A good example to that still is like, me, I'm Latino, so like me, I voted for Trump, and it's like, oh, you betrayed your family, like this is and that, and I'm just like, bro, like how, like like why, and they just can't give you a reason. Like it's
like
it's
your
just
family,
like,
if your family's good or not, what I mean?
Right. Like, oh, did we just wake up in the same room? Like, do you know, like what? Did you help me pay last month's rent? Were you there? Because last time I checked, that came out of my pocket, right? Like, what's good?
I swear, but someone was like, when leading up to the campaign, it was like, they're gonna close the border, and someone that I've kind of known for a while, they crashed. I was like, oh, that's racist if he closed the border. Like, don't you see that? And I'm just like, I mean, that really doesn't affect me personally. Like, I don't like I'm not. I don't have like immigrant family. Like, in my lineage, has a big background in this country. So I don't know what, like that's not like that. I honestly, like, that policy doesn't affect me at all. Yeah, him doing that, and it's like they wanted me to like feel like, oh, that if that's racist towards them, then that's racist towards black people too, and this and that. It's like I'm a citizen. Like I don't.
Weird. I remember coming across that one too, and I'm like, my thing was just like, first off, it's racist for you to even say that, like, because that you're insinuating is that these are it's only your people that cross over the border. Like, no, it's a multitude of types of people from all over. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not just directed towards your people and racist. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, it's like saying like there's nothing racist about towards you, about that notion. 1, 2, it's closing the border to illegal entry. They didn't say anything about like stopping legal entry. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's no real racism there. Like I'm like, so help me understand. I'm like, and then my thing there too, I was like, oh, and like same like you, Carlos. I got it too because like obviously I'm Latino, so people, it's like a big thing with Latinos, and I'm like, all right, hold on. I feel like what you're failing to realize is that you're looking at it as if like United States open land, but like let's just try and compartmentalize this for you to maybe get a grasp of this. Your house, does it have walls or not? It does have walls, right?
Yeah.
And it has a door and a back door, probably, right? Mm-hmm. And 9 times out of 10, it's probably locked, right? Because you just don't let anybody come into your house, right? And you wouldn't just let anybody come into your house without you even knowing that you don't know at all, and then just be like, oh, you need to be here. Thank you for breaking and entering into my house. You need anything to eat? Do you need clothes? You wouldn't do that. You'd call the cops.
You want to eat my food?
Yeah, go ahead. Or you'd probably shoot them if you have a gun. You know what I'm saying? Like, you would not just let somebody come into your house. Like, especially someone you don't know. Like, that's the problem here. When we're talking about, closing the border, illegal entry, it's about people they don't know. We don't know who's coming in. Like, they're not vetted. We don't know where they come from, who they are, what their records are. Like, and you wouldn't do that if it was your house. So, like, why do you think that's okay on a bigger national level with more massive numbers? Like, like that's not right. Like, you gotta be able to do this in a way that we know who's coming in. And again, that's not what they're talking about. Like, they're not talking about not letting anybody come in. They're just talking about like, no, we gotta make sure we lock this motherfucker up so that we actually know who's coming in. That's it.
Well, that's rational.
That's rational thinking.
That's not even. It's become like this moral thing. Like, oh, so you're just gonna separate families and stuff like that. And it's like, again, as far as what they're saying, they're going after people that's like really been doing some ratchet shit over here. Yeah, those are the ones that's getting rounded up first. So I'm like, well, I'm all for that if it's like criminals, obviously. And then on top of that, again, illegally coming over, like that's only, again, I don't know how that's like we should have sympathy. Now, again, there's those out there, this may affect their family, right? They may have, people without their papers over here. And it's like, you know what? I'm not even mad if they're like, oh, you know what I mean? I don't like, it's like, you can have that opinion. I'm just saying, like, I don't see, again, how that affects me personally. So I'm just honestly
get mad at the rest of the people around you.
I can't really ride, now there's a flip side to this that I kind of see, certain areas in this country, they got a lot of illegal workers, and these companies, some of these companies, they don't want to see some of these illegals go. That's cheap labor for them.
Yes. Right? You ever been to a Home Depot?
Right, they'd be like lined up, ready for work. Right? I mean, hey, my family, we've used some of them before for work. Like, it's like I get it, but again, it just when it's about the laws of the land. I mean, that's all it comes down to, and it's nothing personal, you know. And if it's time that, hey, if you didn't get your paperwork together, then you know that's just what it is. That's the
what
law.
it is.
That's it.
It's it. And honestly, what it is too is like, as far as the morality thing, it's like no one argues that the right thing for anybody individually to do is to look out for those who need help. Individually, you're right. Forcing everybody as a collective to do what you deem to be the moral thing is what should be in question here. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a reason why, like, let's just say, for instance, and this is actually not probably the best example I could use, but the separation between church and state, right? Like the idea of, and actually, so I've heard that it's actually the other way around. So again, that's why I say this is probably like a bad example, but I'm using this because I know everybody thinks about it in this way, and that's that the people usually think that like the laws of the church should not govern that which the laws of the government are, and actually it's the other way around, right? It's like the laws of the government actually shouldn't affect the laws of the church, whatever, or the rules or the idea, whatever.
Well, vice versa, yeah.
So it works both ways, right? But all that to say that I know a lot of people aren't Christian, right? And you wouldn't be okay with your government all of a sudden, like, and I know you're not okay because that's, you know, people try and paint it like, oh, that like a lot of the laws are that, right? You know, but let's just say, like, for morality's sake, if we're talking about morality, I know when it's not the morality you agree with, you wouldn't want it imposed on you.
Yeah,
you have to be able to accept that you can't impose your morality on others. Like, that's just the thing. Yeah. Now, can we have dialogue about this? For sure. And that's the whole point of, you know, I use that line from BVI. And again, this is what I'm talking about, Zack Snyder films. Like, he brings things that force you to think about things, right? And that line the lady says, this is how democracy works. It's good conversation, whatever, like, because that's what it is. Like, and if that's what we are, then we need to have good conversations, not bad conversations, not manipulated conversations, not smearing conversations.
One-sided conversations.
Let's have good conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like, and really hear each other out. Yeah. And at the end of the day, let the people decide as a collective what we think is the route to go forward. You know, and then you have to be okay with that. We all have to be okay with that. Like, if that's whatever course got taken. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to be okay. You know,
and even if in my bad, so even if they're not okay with it, it's the fact of being okay with listening to it. And I feel like that everything is so selective. Even reading is so selective. They only take out certain parts. I know you know this. I know you know this. So, they hear certain things. You know. Cecile will say, "Oh, Zach, this," and they'll think, "Oh, Zach, you know, is back 100%." You know,
someone like they, it told me, this showed me like how ugly it can get. Like, it was a couple years ago, but like I do my streams. Like, they took a clip of my video and like took out like the middle part and just made me like say something totally different. I was like, bro, you see the video jump right there. It's like, come on, man. Like, y'all
still wearing a different shirt in one part of the video.
You're going too far, bro.
That's
but
the fact that they
next level troll. That's next level troll.
I mean, well, that's professional trolling. That's
just crazy. But I have the attitude like Vega, you were saying, just the people ultimately decides. Like, in this country, you know, the popular vote, you know, went one way, and that's the majority spoke, right? And so, even if you don't agree with that, this is one thing. You know, my dad, he served before, and two of my uncles, and I take the attitude of one of the generals. When one of these past elections, like one of the presidents, he didn't want that president really to win, but he was like, "Hey, I serve the office, you know, and I respect the office." And that's how I think the attitude, you know, that I was raised, you know, to have that respect for the office, because people they getting real greasy out here where they just like, yo, F the office, and just like, bro, and that's where we get back to the Zack Snyder stuff, where, with Zod and Jarrell, it's like if you take out that council, if that's the attitude you want to have, it's this vacuum that you will create. So it's like, is it really the route you want to take and saying, oh, just F the establishment? Because there's consequences for that. Right. You know what I mean? And you got people blowing up Teslas because you just feel you didn't get your way, and I mean, man, they want to always go back to the January 6th thing. Well, MAGA did this, but that happened as well too. I think everybody's whining. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, quite honest. I don't know anybody who's justified that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whether
no, you probably shouldn't rush the Capitol.
Yeah,
no, I agree. I agree.
I think everybody, and that's actually on both sides of the aisle. I've seen actually a lot of people just like, all right, look, like that wasn't the brightest moment.
That wasn't smart. So let's blow up a Tesla now.
Yeah, that don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, and the crazy part there too is just like you can't condone bad behavior and justify it by someone else's bad behavior. Like, no, like you don't justify it that way. Like, you gotta take the path of Jor-El here, man. You know what I mean? Like Jor-El chose life. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Zod chose death. Like that's what we saw. Like, and that's the higher, philosophically, the higher road should always lead you to choose the right course of action, which should be to uplift life, to produce life, to nurture life, to build life, to give life. That's how you know you're on the right path. Now it's not, I'm not, and I say that as like that should be like the North Star, so to speak. But does that necessarily mean that it's always going to be that? No, like, look, I'm a realist as well. Like I know shit can get crazy. And when it comes down to it, if I have to take yours before you take mine, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, then I'm going to, no, check this out. So give life, build life, whatever. But if I have to then preserve my life, then that's, again, North Star. You know what I'm saying? It's still, at that point, I'm still looking at life, but I'm looking at my not threatened, right? But that's the thing. Like, if that should be the North Star, regardless of what you view, right? And here's the thing, going back to that scene, the thing is they both disagreed with the assembly. You know what I'm saying? Like both Zod and Jor-El disagreed with the choices the assembly made. Jor-El at least confronted the assembly about their bad choices and how he had another like you guys took us too far, but this is there's life in this direction. There's hope. You know what I'm saying? There's hope here. If we do this, and then obviously before he can actually get to saying what the plan is, then Zod comes with the idea of like, screw what you have to say. I'm tired of your choices. Oh, you die. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna die. And
it's crazy. It's crazy too, because in that whole notion, you have Jor-El who is talking of what's best for us, and then you guys Zod coming in of you've done this to me, I'm over it, and this is how it affected me. So now I'm gonna react on how it affected me, and we'll worry about how it affects everyone else after.
It's gonna be my way.
It's gonna be my way.
So I mean, overall, I feel like that's what we got to look at. Just like, look, you got to look at how can you edify yourself and those around you with what you're about to say, and without necessarily excluding anyone, in the sense of like, and look, here's the thing. Not everything you're going to say is for everyone. That's a fact. And
right.
There's going to be things I hear that I probably won't agree with, and there's probably going to be things I say that you don't agree with. Don't just cut the person out just because you don't agree with them. Though, like, find if you feel you have something else or something to say that might add value to the conversation, do so in a manner that can be understood and possibly bring persuasion without the necessity to feel that you have to. Because I feel like this is what happens a lot too, and I don't know if you guys can agree here, but I feel like there's this. You see this a lot, and when it comes to politics, for sure, this actually became heavy in politics. But even when it comes to like just normal conversation, debates, whatever, or like on anything, people try to discredit your argument by attacking your character before they even have something of worth to say to combat your position on whatever it is you brought forth. And I feel like that's a quick sign for you to know that whatever you're hearing on that end, they don't have a good argument to say, to have to actually counter argue that which the person they disagree with is saying. And I'll say this
personal.
Yeah, if they make it personal somehow. Now I'll say, if that's where your thoughts lead you immediately, I would encourage you to like press the brakes. You don't have anything to say just yet.
You really don't have a point.
You don't have a point. You haven't figured out the argument. You haven't figured out why your position is better. You just think that, and you should really, you know what I'm saying, pause, because if your initial thought is like, if I'm gonna discredit this guy and show why he's wrong because he's said this and he's done that, and that's the issue, like you said, throughout the whole Trump campaign, and the Democrats, that's what they did. That was their playbook. And I just feel like people are
a bad guy.
Yeah, they're onto that game already. Like, it's like, you can say that all you want, but what's a solid point to what you're gonna bring forth? And you're not offering any, So at least on this end, I'm hearing ideas that are gonna either work or not. And we're gonna wait and see. What I will say is from what I can tell is the man's trying real hard to keep all of his things that he ran on. Those are the very executive orders he's putting in place.
He's attacking the deficit. I know people would nitpick like, oh, the price of eggs, but even that went down. He's only been there for like a month or two. So it's like they waited like a day after he got inaugurated. Oh, those price of eggs, bro.
You go crazy.
Gas actually went down.
There's no way you could have expected that to turn around right away.
No, it was like the first week, bro. They was like, man, these eggs, these groceries. You said.
And here's the thing. You still
when
got a whole year.
4 years.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But the whole thing is like, and that's that just in a couple months. Again, not even like what? 2 months? 2 months?
Yeah, just 2 months now.
2 months. So it's like, give it a year, and then if things didn't turn out the way or not even you, because like it would seem like people who are already. They're
not gonna like anything.
They're not gonna which is the part that sucks. Is like you're a hindrance onto yourself and you don't even realize it.
Right.
But the whole thing is like, give it a year and see what happens.
Like most administrations.
That's the whole thing. Like, because like, look, and I've said this before. This isn't new. Like, if anybody who's actually watched watched me go live before, like you, so I'm an independent. I don't like the idea of being loyal to any party. I think that's actually foolish. I think that's ignorant. Yeah. I think that's allows whoever you've given your loyalty to eventually at some point take your loyalty for granted, which I believe has happened with primarily the Democrat Party at this point. And I've stated why I think I can't say that about the Republican Party anymore, because this is a different Republican Party, and anybody who's honest knows that. Trump for sure changed the trajectory or the way the Republican Party operates now. We'll know for sure if it was for the better or for worse by the end of his second term.
Right.
Because with one term it's hard to say for sure, but by his second term, and even that, it's kind of hard to say that too, because it's like, it's not like he had his terms back to back, where if he had them back to back and by the end of his term, or 8 years back to back, if then the Republicans showed their true face after the whatever, like, it would have been different. But
see, it's the thing. People act like with Trump's run, because his first run, I didn't vote for him 2016. But people act like all that came from that was, COVID popped up at the end. And I was like, bro, like, I was, as far as financially, had a pretty good couple years when Trump was president at first. And they tried to keep saying he was racist with this, and KKK support him and stuff like that. And it's like they tried everything in a book. And again, I wasn't even supporting him,
right?
But I saw through that then. I was like, wait a minute, like I'm good over here. Like I don't know what's going on with everyone else. I don't feel like threatened, and
right.
So it's like that's why this time around, they was like, oh, it's gonna be the end of democracy and all this stuff. I was like, bro, he already was president. Like, all this stuff didn't happen his first term. Like,
it's crazy you mentioned that. So it's crazy you mentioned that because like, and I don't know, how people will feel about that, but like, a lot of times I don't watch the news anymore because that's what it is. That's exactly what it is, man. It's like you change one channel and one news station is like harping on one thing that the other news station hasn't even acknowledged, and they're just it's almost like a scare tactic, if this is what's going on over here, be careful, you need to follow these rules, and then it's like, oh no, over here this is what's going on, you need to follow. It's man, it's nuts. It's honestly nuts.
Yeah, no, for sure. I try not to watch news anymore either. If I'm on a rush and I have to like just click certain clips right quick and I watch everything because like I tell people all the time, like, the best way to be informed is try and gather the information from all angles, like all parties. But that's the only way you're gonna get a semblance of the truth. But even now, if I do my best to like watch like just the full, and it sucks because I can't trust the media. Now I have to invest like about 3 or 4 hours of my time just to like so I could sit down and listen to a whole hearing of Congress or a whole hearing of the Senate to see what actually was being said, and that way I could actually take my own opinion for myself without, whether it's and again,
not pulling,
whatever, whether it's Fox, whether it's CNN, showing the perspective. Whatever.
I don't like either of those stations. And in a weird way, Twitter's kind of become media.
That's the next thing I was saying. Really, get a lot of media on here, dude.
It's crazy.
I just sit down for those whole hearings, and I just like, all right, that way I can know really what is this policy about? What's what are they actually saying about the impeachment or this and that, whatever. Like, because
it's crazy how these platforms are being used, because even Twitch as well will be streaming like elections and things like that. And it's crazy. Straight off of Trump's Twitch profile, I saw his inauguration.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Twitter itself. Yeah. I mean, Elon. I still think Elon talks too much, but he posts different videos and stuff, and even the White House account on Twitter, they show all of the press conferences of Trump. And like I said, we're at the time now, the information age, and you can Google anything. People act like they can't Google stuff like like just like the meme guy. Like you post something like, oh, where's the source of this? It's like, bro, like all you gotta do is Google. Like, that's all you gotta do. Like you find everything else. You pull up my whole history. You can't look up one article like to realize that was said before. I'm just saying,
you didn't answer the question, Sil. You still haven't answered the question.
They get like selectively dumb. Like, well, I don't see that. I tweeted. I looked up everything else though. It's like, bro, look that up too, dummy. Like, but it's just, I'm just saying, just the information is there. So anytime people like send me different links, even with political stuff, and it'll be like some big account. Oh, breaking, Trump said this. And I was like, well, what's the source of that? Like, is there a video? Is there an article? Because we don't have to just take people's word for it anymore.
Right. That's true. That's true. Yeah. I mean, that's what I realized in 2016. And again, like you, I didn't vote for, even, here's the thing, here's the crazy part. Even throughout that campaign and me realizing like, damn, these guys are like the media was lying in real time about the things that he was saying and his like whatever. And again, the only reason I even like started looking into it, because I was like, this is weird. This guy was not like, I never knew him to be a racist before. Now
that was weird.
I remember I started looking into it, and then like I was like, let me listen to his whole speech, so I can get more context here. And when I'm like, this is a whole different like thing from what I saw. around in the internet, whatever. Like people were sharing, like, oh, but he's a racist, whatever.
Right.
But all that to say that even after all that, I still didn't vote for him because I didn't know. I just in my mind, I'm like, you know what?
Yeah, I
And
didn't.
I didn't vote for Hillary either. I couldn't find myself to vote for either. One, because I knew for sure Hillary was, not the choice. And, and two, because I just didn't know if Trump was the choice. You get what I'm saying? So I was like,
right. Well, it felt like that circus thing with Trump. I didn't even take it seriously when he was running. I was like, Trump, I
really didn't know how
Arnold Schwarzenegger run for president. Then, like, what are we doing?
Right, exactly.
It's crazy how those channels like played, because it's like once at that time when he was first president, you started hearing that the CNN, the other channels, Fox News channels, where they're like, oh, I'm gonna be afraid to go to work in the morning because this is and you're just like
it was some weird crashing out, and I'm just like, okay, I don't feel like they was like, yeah, slavery's coming back and things like that. I'm like, does it even make sense to do? They're gonna deport. They were saying that then they don't deport anyone, And I'm just like, this is dumb. And then this is during his first term, what really convinced me, I was like, okay, maybe the media is going too far when they was like, oh, do you denounce white supremacy? Do you denounce it? And this is what they were showing on the news. And then they would always cut the clip. And then I saw the full video, and like he sat there and denounced all white supremacy.
Right.
I'm like, why didn't y'all show that? Why didn't y'all just show what he said? We could judge for ourselves, man.
Yeah.
And the fact that he was just like, I don't rock with none of that. And I was like, okay, let me listen to the policies. That's what kind of convinced me.
Yeah, for sure. And that's probably that was probably my biggest takeaway at the end of his first term was like, do I have to like him on a personal level? Not really. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know the guy. I never will. But on a policy level, that what did him and his administration like push forward that benefited me? Right. And I'm like, man, there was a lot that actually benefited me throughout that first term. And which is why I'll say at that point, then he did have my vote because I'm like, I don't care about the personality. I don't care about the character. None of that really affected our the policies that were put forward that I benefited from, internationally or nationally. I mean, and then even to his foreign policy, that for all this talk that World War III was going to happen or something, nothing happened.
That was nothing. Everyone was like, "Oh, we're going to get drafted tomorrow," and all that stuff at that time.
I mean, just in real time, we saw him shut down the conflict, right? Ukraine and Russia, and people's like, oh, he's working for Russia. And it's like, no, he's talking to them to stop a war. Oh no, let him fight. It's like, bro, Ukraine's getting their ass kicked, man.
Somebody's got to throw in the towel.
If he can stop, throw in the towel here, man. Like goodness, and hey, I know people. They hey, I'm not happy Ukraine was getting whooped, but I'm just saying, like, if he can step in, if he has the personality to step in, then that's what we would want. You know what I mean? Right. Overall. So,
Right. No, for sure. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, again, it's like whether or not you, and I guess this is for me, I feel like caveat of everything I'm, we're trying to touch on, and that's that you just have to, can we at least be honest with what we actually are seeing? Like, whether you don't agree with maybe his morality or, I don't know, his personality and this is, or something that was said, and this goes, and I'm using him, but let this be the template for everybody. Even if you don't agree with what Sil's saying, you know what I'm saying? Don't come at my boy like that. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to still be honest about everything, right? So, like, all that to say, what I'm saying there is, like, for instance, like, even like in your scenarios, like, he could, even if he says he's gonna go watch this new Superman or that intrigues him, you can't just automatically dismiss everything he said about the Snyder Cut.
What he's done for the Snyder Cut.
Exactly. That's just being dishonest. You know, and then
That's just being. Look, I'm sorry. I'll say it for you, Vega. That's just being a straight moron. Like, honestly, at this point.
Or you're just being dishonest. And what I mean by that is that even in your own dishonesty, then because you're dishonest, you want to make it seem like he's the one who's being dishonest.
Yeah.
When there was nothing ever dishonest about what he was saying. You know what I'm saying? Like you're actually penalizing him because he's being honest. But then you want to say that's dishonest, you know, and then you want to just erase everything he said or done, you know, in retrospect to the Snyder Cut, you know, so like that just again that's the dishonesty there, you know.
Right.
Again, you don't agree with everything Sil has said or everything he's doing, but just be honest, right? And then same thing here with Trump is like, look, you don't have to agree with everything he said or everything he's done, but you have to be honest about certain things, and that goes, and that just again, it's not just, maybe even just that whole entire administration, you know what I'm saying? Like, look, I'll say this, like, what's so funny is that, again, you're talking about, you know, if there was a point where it's like, oh, we want to see what's happening behind closed doors. You see everything now. I mean, and then even like every staff member has their own personal account. And like, if you're even trying to see what the head of
the custodian,
you can tap into her account. She's right there. So it's like, it's just crazy. It's like, be honest. That the change you were looking for, unfortunately, didn't come with the party you unfortunately thought was smart to be loyal to. It's just, I hate to, like, that's what it was. And I'm not saying this because I'm a Republican or I'm praising them. Again, coming from someone who's independent. This is coming from someone that, again, I didn't vote for Trump the first time around. You know what I'm saying? I'm an independent voter. My vote goes to whoever gives me the most logical reason to why I should vote for them, right? And evidence backed up by, you know, experience and stuff, right? So that's why, again, 2016, I didn't vote for Trump because there was no experience in politics for him, for me to see like, yeah, he's got good intention, or he's going to do the right, whatever. Right. But on the other hand, when it came to Hillary, oh no, she does have a history, and I'm not voting for that. Like I know, I know where that's going. I know where that comes from. I'm cool. So
yeah.
Now 2020 came, and I voted for Trump because now he had a record that I'm like the record worked with me. Actually, even to the point as an individual artist, it worked for me now that I can get royalties now off of, you know, independent projects I put out there.
That's what it's about, though. Policies, because again, people, they get on this whole you know, we are the world thing where, I need to protect this marginalized group, and I feel sorry for this. It's like, no, like, just relax and look at the policy that works for you and your family. You know, and again, as far as in America, we're not about putting down any other group anyway. So because people may think that's selfish to say, oh, just look at your own situation, but that's what you should do for you and your family, you know. And if there's policies, I'm willing to have the conversation with people where you feel like there's a policy that does, you know, is negative for you, then at least that's the dialogue on the policies. Again, I'm not concerned. You know, 4 years from now, I may not like anything the Republicans is talking about because Trump's
exactly.
You know what I mean? And, you know, I already know I'm not gonna like what the Democrats say. I already know. So it's like there's a lane where it could be a good independent push. You know, 2028. Not saying it will win, but just that, you know, this could again open up the dialogue where it's not just two parties. Like that's what you know.
And that's actually it's funny you're saying that, because that's what I was trying to get at is now when you're looking at this administration, this is what I'm trying to say. Is like, it's crazy because no one would have ever thought this is what the Republican Party was going to look like. A coalition of different minded individuals, from someone like Tulsi Gabbard, who is a Democrat.
She was a former Democrat.
RFK Jr., same thing. You know what I'm saying?
But same, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and then he eventually became an independent, right? And that's what I mean. Like, this is the closest we've ever gotten to a semblance of a party that really is diverse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, you know, so it's like, so that's why it's like crazy to me, because it's like, guys, like, And again, this has nothing to
kind
do
of
with
what we
that
wanted.
man. It has nothing to do with the man. It could have been someone else. If they would have accomplished what this guy's done, I would have been pointing out the same thing. I don't know about Trump for me. I'm just pointing out the observation. This is what we're looking at. This is what has happened, to the point where even if then you take a deeper look into the party, right? Which again, I had to start doing because all right, well, I had to get a better sense of what was happening in the Democrat Party. All right, what's going on here? This isn't what I thought. So I took a deeper look into that, and then same thing with Republican Party. All right, it's looking different. Deeper look into that. Again, when you're looking at that cabinet, there's a lot of even different viewpoints within their cabinet. Like a lot of them that are liberal, I guess conservatives, and then some that are more moderate, and then some that are whatever. This is the closest we've ever gotten to something that's just this diverse, and I'm just like, I feel like looking at that, to Sill's point, is this is a window at what an independent party could look like, or maybe scrub the again. How about just scrub the whole idea of party, right? Scrub the whole idea of party, and actually just start voting according to what actually makes sense. What you actually, truthfully, what makes sense. If you actually, with your own mind, logically make sense of the things that are happening, the things that are moving forward, how things are being put together. Does it really look like the administration you're looking at now? Was that really a threat to democracy? Does somebody who's a threat to democracy, are they really going to take in people into their camp that come from the opposite party? That doesn't sound like somebody who has a scheme of a threat to democracy. A threat to democracy would be more so closing the party to any outside influence. If you
would have made his cabinet just all old white people, then I'd be like, oh, y'all may have a point. what I mean? And it's like, oh, okay, well,
you know what I mean?
He didn't divert it at all.
It's not right. Exactly.
You got one right there.
Right. So it's just start pay attention with your own sense of things, your own.
It's simple. It's the number one rule when you're on an aircraft. They tell you what's the first thing to do when the oxygen bags drop.
Oh, take care of yourself first.
Take care of yourself first.
That's actually good point. Yeah. That was a great point there. So because it's you can't expect to take care of others if you can't even take care of yourself. So the immediate thing you have to be concerned with is yourself.
Not saying I'm not concerned, right? Because we're still in this country, still have the same constitution. So if something benefits, let's say if something does benefit, a certain demographic, that's not meaning it's going to crap on another group or something. You know what I mean? It just there's going to be probably tax breaks for some rich brackets. Then I think there are going to be tax breaks for all of us. So everyone is going to have a chance to to kind of benefit. But like you said, Vega, it's like I'm kind of over even telling people, hey, giving anyone advice, hey, maybe you should look at it like this. It's just no, this is just how I'm going to approach it, right? Yeah. And they're just going to just react how they're going to react, and we're just going to see the results. Like I said, the gaslighting has been ridiculous. People, I'm leaving the country, and it's where are you going? Really? Come on. Yeah. You don't want to. Yeah. Some celebrities went.
You left poverty to come here to make a better life, and then you're going back.
No shade on the UK, but no one wants to leave America to go to the UK. Come on.
I've been to the UK.
You really don't want to do that.
I've been there. It's okay.
Come on.
It's okay.
Let's stop playing.
Stop playing, man.
Much love to the UK. It's still nation of the UK. I'm not dissing y'all, but you don't want to go to Canada. You really want to leave America, go to Canada. No. Again, much love.
Man, Drake left.
Canada.
Drake left Canada.
Y'all want to be over here, okay? Come on, let's stop that.
No, that's oh my god, that was the most stupidest gaslighting I've ever heard. When I heard that, I'm like, there's no way. There's no way.
Country. It's
Jesus.
Come on, man.
That's so crazy, bro.
But you're leaving when you be back. We'll be here waiting for you.
Yeah, you'll be back. You'll be back.
I mean, dude, trust me, I've been to the
Much
UK.
love to UK and Canada.
Yeah,
Much love to
UK.
Still about to have like 50 messages when he get off of here.
No, you know what? Look,
it's like that. It's like that.
London is great. It does look. It's if you're into like history, it's got a great like what's what I'm looking for.
You ain't riding for us no more. You ain't riding for UK and Canada no more. We good, y'all. I'm just saying an example. Just an example.
Oh man, but dude, low key, when I was out there, it was always gloomy, dude. Like it's like a.
Oh man, no. You see,
make
it go into the details now.
I'm not gonna say that.
Yeah. No, Vega, we ain't about to do that. We ain't about to do that.
I'm just saying, it's like that's the kind of weather you're getting more often than not. But look, all I'm saying is this:
chop. You just
I've been to many places outside of the United States, like from UK to Colombia, South Africa, whatever. I've been a few places outside of the US. And I gotta say, and you know what? Maybe this is just because I was raised here. So maybe this is me speaking out of ignorance, and maybe because I lived my entire life here, maybe this is what I'm accustomed to.
Right.
But honestly, like I'm always ready to come back home. There's no, there's no spot you can pay me to stay, and be like, you gotta live here forever. You could live here forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'd be nice to probably have like property out there so I can go out there whenever I want.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
How much money
sure.
we talking, Vega?
No. That I can.
I'll visit UK.
I'll visit too.
Live out there?
I mean, probably not with Sil after what he said. Nah, but yeah, I'll visit.
But like, and again, it's not just like UK. For me, it's like
after we absorb Canada, I'll visit Canada in the 51st.
Yeah, you're right. We absorb Canada.
I'll visit Canada, under those terms.
Oh,
we good, Canada. We good. All right, let's.
Canada be goofy, bro. Low key, dog. Dude, I swear, like they're cut like they're the border customs, bro. Fucking ridiculous, dog.
Oh man,
ridiculous. Bro,
they can be going into details on these countries.
I'm just telling you how it is, man. Ridiculous. Like, if I told you what happened to my OGs, bro, like when they were, because like some of our obviously our highways kind of lead up there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like they were leaving Boston, and somehow, some way, they got caught on a highway that led up there, dude. The bullshit that the Canadian customs made them go through, dude. Ridiculous, though. Even though they told them, like, look, we're not even trying to stay. You're like, we're like, you could watch us. Just we went in the wrong direction, And bro, like they kept them there, searched their vehicle, questioned them, like as if like, and they're old people, bro. Like what I'm saying, not old, but like they're older people. Like what I'm saying. Now I can probably get even more petty and be like, it was probably some racist shit. You know what I'm saying, going on there. To be honest, maybe. Because their parents are Latino or whatever, and but they're also not to get too personal, but there's no other reason why they keep them. But like we're talking about stuff like record, like past, like it's like it should be wiped already technically from United States records, whatever type shit. Mm-hmm. But it's just it was ridiculous the what they had to go through. So yeah, your Canada be weird. Like they're strict like that. Somebody told me, and actually this is what I'll say. So if you have a past record, let's just say of like drugs, some sort of like drug thing, in order to enter their country, they force you to go into like a rehabilitation program that you have to complete, even if you don't even do drugs anymore. Like you're clean, you haven't done drugs in a long time, or you haven't sold anything, whatever the case may be. But if you have any kind of record like that, you have to go in some sort of program for them to let you stay in Canada. If you have some sort of like criminal offense on your record. And I imagine it's probably the same even with like other things, like, I don't know. Oh, we see that you're a thief. You've held up a store at gunpoint. You gotta go see a therapist and talk to him for like so and so. You know what I'm saying? I'm almost certain, because like if that can't be the only thing they're like that strict about.
That's like saying they stole some. All right, we got to take one of your fingers.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Well, what's crazy is that it was so far back that's the crazy part. It's like you're talking about something that happened like 30 years ago, and somehow they're like, yeah, in order to, if you plan on coming, even though they told me like we're not planning on coming, we don't care about coming into Canada, we're trying to get out of here, like, but they like, if you're trying to come into Canada, you gotta join this program, and that's the only way you can come into Canada. Like, it was like weird shit like that. It was just, anyways, yeah, it's weird. All that to say that for those that have this like rah-rah shit about like, oh, the US is fucked up and we're going to shit, and like, no, trust me when I tell you there's always a place that's a lot worse. Always a place that's a lot worse. And I've been to many of those places. Trust me, I'm always dying to come back. I don't care who's president. I'm always dying to come back, because it is what it is. On that note, though, I think I think we made our point. I think UK, much love. We love you guys. Canada,
you ain't gonna say all that about Canada and say we love y'all. Nah, hold on, man.
I said Canada, you're not the worst. I said Canada, you're not the worst. But I will say, though, all that to say that, guys, going forward, like, keep a level head about these things. Don't follow. If there's something that you feel is leading you to like feel the need to like do something crazy,
blow up a Tesla,
or spam my boy's account with memes, whatever it is, stop it. Just stop it. You know what I'm saying? Just stop it. Like, just be cool, man. Like, look, if you have disagreements, just talk about it, man. And look, honestly, you can even hit up my message, you could message me and be like, hey, you want to talk about something, maybe there's something you disagree with, maybe there's something about this conversation we had today, and you want to like hit me up, message me, but be real, but be real about it, and actually have something to talk about. Like, like, and again, it's like I'm not expecting you to be a professional about these things, like, you need to know everything, because not even I know everything. This is a conversation just amongst normal guys who just had some sort of sense of like having their own opinion on things, being free thinkers, and kind of just doing, typical, dive into certain things so that we can make informed decisions. But do I know everything there is? No.
But like I said, we have informed opinions, and again, that's another dishonest thing to just assume, we have an uninformed opinion because it's not yours, So,
right.
Again, you're open to yours. I know there's a lot of people, that may not rock with, certain opinions I have. I respect their freedom of speech. And it's not about attacking each other over it really, like I said, that Tesla stuff, like, it's in a joking way, but like that's really ridiculous, man. Like, someone was really trying to justify blowing up people's cars. Like, it's like, come on, man. That's not cool.
It's crazy. No, for sure. I mean, and honestly, there's like so many things I can really touch on that are even more probably serious than that notion of what happened with Tesla. That I've seen people try and justify the actions, and it's like nah,
that's
bro.
corny.
You can't justify violence of that nature, that in any way. Just no way to justify it.
Just touching anyone else's property. It's like, come on, man. Like,
there's no way.
The thing is too is that with everything else we deal with that on a daily to now, like, you have to worry about shit like stuff like that, man. It's just like there's no need for it. There's honestly no need for it.
No, there really isn't. And again, it's like, you disagree, just share your sentiments. And look, here's the thing. I know for sure there's always that guy or girl that they're just on here to cause chaos. That's just a fact. I guess what I'm trying to do is I just want to challenge people to like live above it. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't let this suck you into the madness. Believe me, been there, done that. And look, I'm not claiming to be a saint either. Look, every now and then I'll take my jabs at those that I feel deserve it. You know what I'm saying? But they have had to have had it coming for me to do so. If I may say so, they've had to have had it coming. You know, like recently. Look, and I'm an open book. I thought I was done with Jody. I thought I was done. I thought I was done. I thought I was done with it. You know, I was like, I thought that was over. I thought he was done. You know what I'm saying? And he had the sense of chiming in again. You know, in his own you know, disrespectful way. That I just was like, all right, hold on, let me clown you right quick because you're asking for it. You know what I'm saying? Because you know you were asking to be clowned now.
So Jody, Jody's corner.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, look, and I know that happens from time to time, you know, like, and look, but after that, I was done. So it was like, all right, like I just said my piece because like you're a clown. I'm gonna say real quick what I gotta say, and I'm out. I'm not gonna keep entertaining it because I'm really done with it. You know, but all I can say is like, even in that scenario, they asked for it. And look, so I'll say this: if somebody asked for it, if they came at you, whatever, it's open season. It's open season.
Hey, like I said, yeah, you're gonna see wild stuff on my timeline. Yeah, sometimes it happens. It just
that's what I'm saying. Like you just can't control everybody, and which is fine. Everybody can do whatever they do. And I'll say, like, look, if you can do your best to live above it, do so. If you feel like they came too direct and you just want to come a little direct back, you can do that. You know what I'm saying? It's open season at that point, but don't get consumed by it. I'll say that much. Just don't get consumed. You feel you have something to say right quick, say it, but don't let it consume you. Don't let it take up your energy. Don't let it take up your time.
It shouldn't ruin your whole day.
Yeah, don't let it ruin your day. Right. If you see that they're just constantly coming after the fact, if you've already said what you had to say, don't even worry about it.
Here's the thing too. And yes, conversation, as we've been saying for pretty much the whole show. Like this is what it's about. Having these open conversations and all that. But also, there's this thing on the phone that's called unfollow. If you don't like what somebody's saying, you don't got to keep reading it. Like unfollow. It's very simple, bro. Like,
that is true. That is true. The power of the unfollow button. Power of the block button.
Hey, I'll tell you one thing. It has blessed me these last couple months, and with everything going on, and like my timeline is things I want to see.
Right.
Not
Hey, I encourage anyone, man. It used to be a time where it's like, somebody's trolling, and then you block them, and they like celebrate. Oh, I got them to block me. It's like, no, for your own peace of mind, just start blocking people. Just clear up your timeline. Because that's how the algorithm works now, too, with Twitter. It's like it blocks them and anyone that's talking like stupid like them. And so just go ahead and block people.
Shout out to Elon, man. Shout out to Elon for doing
that.
They
put us on these lists. I don't know if you saw that tweet, Vega, where
I did,
people making these special Snyder lists, and I'll be highlighting some of that. Snyder Hater Sundays is coming. More details to come. But we're just gonna talk about how people kind of moving out here. That's all. We get our eyes on stuff.
You gotta be vigilant. You gotta be vigilant.
You know what's crazy, man? I've deleted so many. I didn't even know there's a list out there. Oh man, I gotta tune in.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I tried looking for that list. I couldn't even find it.
Yeah, it's like different lit. Like check, I think on your profile, and then look at like what list you're on, and you'll see if they added you to the list. And so that's how these weirdos, they pop up like every thread I write, every other thread or whatever about Snyder or whatever, they'll pop up like no one's asking for this. I'm just like, bro, how are you finding my thread? Like, why are you here every time I post? Because they have me on a list. So every time I tweet, my tweet's right there. So they're like, let me go troll. It's like, okay.
So you say you go to your profile?
Yeah, so on your phone, if you go to your profile page, and then those three dots on the top right.
It might be different on the phone.
It'll say share drafts and lists you're on. You'll see that? on your profile. You gotta go to your main profile page.
Yeah, that's what I'm checking right now. No, I don't. I see like a circle looking thing, a search button, and then a share button. So
you don't see 3 dots for the middle. Well, I got an Android, so I don't know if it's different.
Oh no, yeah, I got an Apple.
Okay, well that's an L. Yeah.
Hey,
I got you.
No, yeah, that's what I said on your phone. It might be different because I tried doing the Chris thing, too, and it didn't work for me either. Because I do have an Apple.
I was like, hold on a second.
Yeah, they got y'all. Yeah.
No, but there's
where
still a way to
your
see
drafts? If you can find where you
the app, it's to your left.
Oh,
click on your photo, and then you're gonna see profile, premium, communities, bookmarks, offline, jobs, lists. Click on that.
Okay. Okay, there we go. Yeah, for you Apple people. Yeah. I'll do that, and then you'll see like different lists. Well, you're trying to see the list that you're on. Let me see. Oh yeah, where it says your list. No, they don't say that.
No, it just says
discover
new list. Yeah.
Is there? You don't have the 3 dots on the top right? Well, I guess that's probably Android thing. Yeah.
Oh, list you're on. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, and then usually the list, if you're on a bad one, it'll say like Snyder fans suck or Snyder tards and so you just whoever made that list just block them. It'll take you off that list. You know? So,
okay.
Yeah. I hate Snyder. I saw it was a bunch of lists. I was like, bro, like they were on me, bro.
It's crazy. It honestly is crazy.
That is nuts. I did not know that. This is crazy.
Snyder's the worst. Crazy, bro.
Oh, that's
crazy.
So funny, dude. Oh yeah. I was looking for that list. I couldn't find the one that I saw that they were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But then I went to where it says listed you're on. Apparently, I'm such a cool guy. I'm not on any. I'm not on any hate list just yet. So
I haven't seen any. I mean, there was a spam one. It was like an OnlyFans account. I was on that.
Jody
I just deleted that.
Just go to list.
Right.
I can cap it. Get big on some lists. And the list they go through, man, like no other fandom, man. It's like,
bro,
the universe supposed to be dead, but we still got everybody's attention. That's crazy.
That's the thing. It's like if it's dead, like why do you care? Let us be lost in our wilderness. You know what I'm saying? if you really think we're wasting our time, if you really think it's not thing, just why concern yourself? But it's you know what? It feeds them too. That's the thing. It feeds them.
Oh yeah. Man, leading up to the Snyder Cut release, like that was feeding so many channels, bro. Like just everyone was on that train. You know what I mean? So they just want that same magic back. That's all.
For sure.
Haters,
for sure. Yeah. They're hoping. they're trying to get their ratings back up. You know what I'm saying? Just like you know what I'm saying?
If I hate on these Snyder fans.
Oh Jesus. No, but yeah, I'm sure that's what they want, which you would think if that's what you really wanted, you talk about it more, but on a more positive note. But the fact that you want to attack it from a negative, viewpoint is just
negative griff.
Yeah, that's what it is. No, but you know what? And unfortunately, it's just that's what people are into, I guess. You know what I'm saying? That there's an audience for that, and you can argue a big audience. People like drama. People do like I don't know. Some people are drawn to that. The idea of nemesis and enemies and ops and which is just again, it's just weird for me because I'm like, I don't know, maybe again, this is just maybe my own life experience, but for someone who's had many ops in his life, the last thing I'm trying to do is have them over the internet. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've had plenty of ops in real life, and some do, and some of them, a lot of them still do exist. The last thing I'm trying to do is have these weird beef online. You know what I'm saying? With just other accounts, but man, some people again. I didn't want to talk shit about Jody. I didn't want to.
Saying, you go pop up on the list, man.
I didn't
The way
want
you
to,
went at
man.
him, bro.
I was like,
I don't know if you still got those same minions, but
you're right.
we got
It just
that
bothered
Vega
me because
guy.
I'm like, bro, you're still here. You're still here talking about it. Like, that's what bothered me. It was like I know where he stands already. I kind of throughout that phase, I kind of really did my best to ignore him. I really got into it towards more towards the end. Once it was like, bro, this is real. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like now you're actually going against like evidence. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, like,
and he punked out because like he started like mass blocking.
Yeah,
all Snyder fans. Like I never had a single exchange with Jody. He put me in one of his videos back in the day with Film Gob and stuff. When they went at Film Gob,
right?
And that was like 3-4 years ago. And but like I never had no exchange. I only had exchange with Andy Signor. And when I first started my channel, then they just like mass blocked all the Snyder fans. I was like, they're like talking shit about us and like.
Right.
At that time, like that was a win. Like, oh, see, I made you block me. Yeah, punk. Take that.
Take that. Oh, that's funny because that was what it was, bro. It was like, oh he blocked this guy. Oh, dude, I don't know if I ever got blocked. I think I have, but that's just how much I didn't even care though. Like I wasn't even really paying attention to that shit. Like, and I'm sure I did because I know, like I said, towards the end, I definitely started like talking more shit, But then, kind of, what happened then though too, though, is like it kind of got diluted with even with like the inner drama. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like at that point, that's why I was like, even if I wanted to give this guy more attention, I couldn't because then there was like all this inside drama happening, and it's like I'm not really trying to get involved, but then somehow I do get involved. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like now, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to talk. It was weird, dude. Like it was.
That's
it
the
was
worst thing as Snyder fan. That's the worst. Like talking about like detracting from like goals. Like that's the worst thing. A Snyder fan could do is attack another Snyder account. Like that's. I don't see that's the most counterproductive thing. Like we have all these antis against, like you mentioned, Jody, and it's no
exactly.
reason.
There's so many, there's plenty of antis that we shouldn't really be worrying about ourselves like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, attacking actual Snyder accounts or people that are for Snyder against.
But that goes back to the whole thing that we talked about with the whole like with politics, man. It's like, dude, it's okay to have different viewpoints on certain things. But like, don't discredit what we've done for each other, and it's not even so much of like, oh, you have a right, because of what you've done in the past. Nah, it's just a matter of like, why put that much energy into that? It doesn't make sense.
And I seen like just like from my point of view, a divide when Black Adam. I always bring up the Black Adam example, but
oh man,
it's like there was certain Snyder accounts, and like we had a little falling outs with certain accounts, but I wasn't, even though I disagree with how they moved about that, wanting to boycott. Even Cavill was in the film, but it's like okay, but I was like, I'm not gonna make this like like I think back then I was doing like clapback Saturdays. That wasn't like that was for the antis, right? Just like Snyder hater Sundays. That's for the antis. It's not to attack. Even if I disagree with how some of these other Snyder accounts move, some of the anonymous ones, but I wasn't going to dedicate because I could have put that energy like, oh, let me clap back,
right?
And because the antis would love that if we fighting, amongst ourselves,
for sure. For sure. That's why I hated that it happened towards the end of the Snyder Cut movement because I'm like, what the hell, like.
Yeah.
Here we are about to finally get what we wanted, and like, don't get me wrong, like I know why it happened, and I get it. I do get it. Like like there was a lot of what's the word?
Clout chasing.
Clout chasing. Clout chasing for sure. But there's another word I'm looking. Not false flagging. It's false. It was like wow. you know what? I'm gonna give an example, and hopefully you guys know the word I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when somebody pretends to be part of a war they were never a part of. Valor, stolen valor.
That's cloud chase, but yeah,
that's cloud chasing, right? No,
yeah.
but even to that degree,
I see what
kind
you
of,
mean. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? There was even stolen valor, and
Yeah.
you know,
for sure.
People took it personal. You know what I'm saying?
They did a whole, their own con event,
right.
and everything. It was kind of weird because, like, you saw, I knew the accounts I was following and giving the information, and then this other group kind of intermingled, and then it was like a divide. It was a weird divide then. And it's like, you just don't want to see history repeating itself with that.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the, that'd be the unfortunate thing.
Yeah, no, for sure. Which unfortunately kind of already has it's kind of already cemented itself.
It's kind of repeated itself.
But yeah, no, you're right though. If there's anything hopefully we can gather is that we don't repeat what happened twice already, which it's
Hey, if you're a Snyder fan, like, don't dedicate time attacking other Snyder fans. That's all. Because like I said, I can have smoke for a lot of Snyder accounts like every week, but I'm just like, it's counterproductive. It really is.
It really is.
You know what I mean? And it's like stuff, it goes back. Like, it's some people I could be like, I can actually call them out, but it gets nowhere. It's not going to,
it's a never-ending cycle.
That's kind of what I realized too, especially like the first time around. I'm like, because like I did try to like extend olive branches and like, or even like some sense of like reasoning, like, hey, look, again, going back to that, like, let's be honest about the optics here. Like, this is what happened, whatever.
Yeah.
And just coming from a place of like, I'm not trying to shade on anyone, but that's still how it got perceived. And the next thing I'm going back and forth with, I'm not even going to mention his name, but I'm not even
out to both sides, because that's when I really was starting my content, and I try to make it a point. I was just like, not to get like both sides of it, but just like, bro, we all want the same. I think we all want the same thing here.
Yeah.
And it was just no lessening that divide. Like, both sides was like, nah, they ain't shit. No, they ain't shit. It's like, so I was just like, I'm just going to kind of just do my own thing, because I just never was going to repair. And it's like I said, just, you kind of see that again repeating, unfortunately. But we just gotta, stay on focus.
Yep. No, that's all it is, man. Just stay focused. And here's the thing, like, in the end of that first thing, I ended up. And here's the thing, like, I actually even had people come to me like, they're like, man, Vega, you're too nice of a guy to be rocking with the guys you're rocking with. Yep. And I'm like, that's not what it's about, though. Like, and here's the thing. This is what bothered me about it is like, man, that's not even what this is about, though. Like, and that might be how you perceive it, but honestly, that's not the way I see it. I don't think I'm nicer than these guys are. Like, I don't. You could say all that you want, but these are the first guys that actually reached out to me. The guys you're trying to have me look at in a negative way are the first guys that actually reached out to me, and accepted me and brought me in, and we started, working together to do things, So it's like, so what you're saying is just goofy to me, but at the same time, like, this is not even what it's about, But so I'm like,
once we got the cut, like, the people that I think the fandom recognized, like, who was riding the whole time. That's why I mentioned, the people attached with the hub account, so it's like the people the streets always recognize who really deserved the credit and all that stuff. So it kind of worked itself out, I guess, in a way. Everybody ain't rocking with each other, but it's just in a way. So like I said, this next wave, like, this is still kind of the restore. It's like, what I mean, we're gonna see this out, and just kind of leave it at that,
No, for sure, and just level head, guy, level heads, level.
Hey, man, Sil says it best all the time. Go outside and touch some grass. It's gonna be all right.
Sometimes you gotta, like,
go smell the air. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes this is what you need to do, man. Like,
man,
it can't
touch
be
the
that
trees,
you were again.
You know?
I understand like the haters and the antis. Like I said, I face them every day. Yeah. But just like fellow Snyder
they can go kick rocks.
You know, and a lot of times I may send, like I said, in certain accounts I'm still mad at from Black Adam. So just at times I may throw a couple zingers.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to all the time.
Bro, like
I like how they moving.
I know we ain't even talking about that, but man, Black Adam, bro, I saw that movie 10 times in the theater. I'm not even exaggerating, Vega. I literally went to 3 screenings. I got 3 early screenings, and then I paid out of my pocket to see it. And I would gladly do it again. And I even went dressed up as, you know, Superman. Like I was ready for this, and for people to tell me that is not Henry Cavill Superman. That's not Zack Snyder Superman. Like,
boycott that.
I wanted to smash my head against the wall so hard. I'm like, who am I watching then? That is Henry Cavill, is it not? Is that not a Superman on his look? Come on,
like, what
man.
are y'all doing, bro? We got Cavill suited back up. And this is where you want to make it.
Come on. This guy,
rough.
bro. This guy.
Wow. Look. I'll say this one because I know when that happened, and I tried to play devil's advocate. Because I thought I could see both sides. I really could, because on one end I'm like, yo, I just have trust that they can. If there's anyone who can bring Zach back, it's going to be in this direction. Mm-hmm. But I also did understand the concern, right? Like, you know. Because like, to the point of this, like, yeah, that's Henry Cavill Superman, right? Like, we saw it's Henry Cavill as Superman. Sure, that's one thing. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's Zack Snyder's Superman, and that was a solid argument to make, especially when you got a movie like The Suicide Squad, who had the same characters as Suicide Squad, but they weren't the same characters from Suicide Squad. Same actors, same characters.
I'm gonna pull a page from your book, though. I'm gonna pull a page from your book.
You can't pull the flip. I am the book.
I'm pulling your book then. Look. You see, I just pulled your book. Hold on, bro. I would agree with you 100%, Vega. I would agree with you 100%. If The Rock himself did not, before this movie was released, change the freaking trailer to align with Zach's movie.
I agree.
Even further.
I agree.
Even further with that.
I agree with that. I'm not.
I mean, and I get, like you saying, Vega, the concern. Okay, it's gonna be the Rock universe. Yeah, The Rock's gonna do like 5 projects. Yeah, and then again, you're gonna have Cavill there. You're gonna have his Justice League there. But what really clinched it for people that was worried, it was kind of too little, too late. But Cavill did that interview after he announced, "Hey, I'm back as Superman." This is all like the first opening weekend of Black Adam. Not enough people wanted to go see it, and then Cavill did that interview that following week, and Zach sent him the video saying, "Glad to see you back as Superman.
We'll be working soon. We'll be working soon." That's exactly what he said.
See you soon. And so, because again, I understood the arguments where it's like, well, can we trust the Rock? Yeah, the Rock's gonna win out whatever. If they gave him DC, you would have been inundated with the Rock projects, but we would have had our Justice League back. And like I said, Zach, ended up Zach would have been a part of that, but that's
for sure. You don't gotta convince me.
It takes so much.
You don't gotta convince me. I understood. I got it. I didn't go see the movie 8 times. I didn't go see it 8 times. But I
went
saw it
10 times, bro.
Two or three times. Bro. So
it's a sore spot for me, Vega. It's a sore spot for me, Vega. I'm sorry, man.
Just the Justice League coming back. Oh well, okay.
Oh well.
It just look.
I mean, I don't know. Again, for me, I just thought it was like I got the concern because, like, again, it's like
I already understood.
Yeah, no.
You know, and unfortunately, like you said, that
I
agree,
bro.
A little too late. If that interview would have came out like before or same weekend, then we probably would have seen different results.
if there was a way, because and again, you know, in hindsight, right? I mean,
Right.
and again, I was going off of information I had at that time too, but in retrospect, if Zach, because they was trying to hide the whole Cavill Superman, they should have never hid that.
Yeah.
They could have just made it very clear that he's, you know, it was just a postscript. It was just a, you know, it wasn't part of the movie.
Right.
So, you know, they was trying to do the Marvel thing. It's like they should have just made it clear Cavill's back, right? And then Zach could have did that message before the film, you know, because Zach doesn't have a problem speaking, you know, up for films or saying, oh, let me check out Blue Beetle and stuff like that. Yeah. So if Zach could have did that before Black Adam, I think that would have, you know, quelled some of that. You know, so I know it's a real, that's a real concern.
No, you're right. That if it would have came out beforehand, you're right. And honestly, even if that would have been released for the movie, but without really saying which movie, like, oh, it's for Black Adam, like, I don't know, if they were still trying to have like a, you know,
like a mystery, where is he gonna pop up at? Yeah,
it still could have been a thing. And then if he's in Black Adam, it would have like, and then everybody would have went. And
that's true. They should have just. That's what they should have just been like, hey, we just signed Cavill to a new contract, you know, which they actually didn't do it yet, but they should have just been like, hey, let's sign him up for, you know, he's coming back, guys. Like, I don't know where, I don't know what film is it going to be. Then,
right.
Black Adam would have dropped, and then they would be like, okay, now it's announced Man of Steel 2. You know, so yeah, it was mishandled, you know, all around.
And look, I 100%, I get it. But my gripe and my frustration with everything is now all those same people that was like talking about like, oh, you know, boycott Black Adam. They're the first ones who are, you know, championing the Black Adam movie. And I'm just like, bro, where were you?
Yeah,
we needed you. Where were you? Like I said, I understand, and there's still some that still believe that, and you know, they didn't go see it and they still haven't seen it. And I respect that. But the ones that now are like were one of the front runners of it, of this whole boycott stuff. There's some out there.
We want Cavill.
You had him,
bro. Right,
you had him.
I feel you, man. I really do.
Oh well,
I'm sorry, right. But that's still a sore spot right here, bro. That's still.
That's still.
No, I get it, man. I get it. Because honestly, again, I may have not liked completely everything in Black Adam, but the characters enough were good for me. Like I'm like, yeah, I like the way these characters look. You know what I'm saying? Like, and in my mind, I'm like, I can imagine these guys in a Zack Snyder movie. Like that's all I was.
That was my yes. That was,
you know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't necessarily about whatever the Rock's gonna do, or but I was thinking to myself like, just imagine Dr. Fate.
It fits in that world. Like it fits
in that world.
The Rock even said that. He was like, yeah, this could fit in the, you know, in that that Justice League. You know, he was being really careful. Again, it was several steps. They could have been a little more blatant. Yeah. Like, hey, this is in the Snyderverse, y'all. Okay, like this is in the Snyderverse. But
But you know what? It's not their fault. It's not their fault because you know what? I'm sure the reason they couldn't and the reason they didn't is because the word hadn't come up from on high. You know what I'm saying? Like the bosses are still undecisive on what the future is. So I can't even really give you an honest answer. As much as I'd love to give you an honest answer.
That was a real thing at that time. That's when Zaza was looking for a DC head and people was turning down the job left and right. And so you couldn't really commit, you know, until you hired a DC head, and it just ended up being, you know, Saffron and Gunn. And it was like, okay, let's stop the Man of Steel 2. Because whoever you would have hired, they would have, you know, decided where we're going to go with this. You know what I mean? So that's
too soon, sir.
That was it.
Too soon, sir.
That was it, man.
I'm gonna get off now. We're gonna finish this stream. I'm gonna have to go have a nightmare tonight. Come on, guys. Like, come on, man. We were just talking about we the people. Now we're talking about this. Come on, man.
Oh man. You know what? We are the people. We are the people. We're the people who have hope. We still hope.
Yeah, man.
We still hope that we are gonna get the Snyderverse sometime.
Zach will do DC again. I
man.
definitely believe that.
Yeah,
100%.
there's a timeline that's not the case. He's gonna come back. Again, I think the reality, the question is whether or not he's gonna do his thing again, like continue where he left off, or whether or not they just look, we're gonna have you work on this project here. And
I'm telling you, man. Like again, take everything I'm saying, everyone who's watching right now, with a grain of salt. But like I really think there's an avenue to where we can get at least a weekend of ZSJL in the theaters, especially with WB, Zazov. They're looking for money grabs right now, and that's an easy money grab, especially when you have the summer of Superman. That's all you have this year. That's it. That's all you have, man. It could happen. So I mean, I'm not saying it's going to. I don't know if it is, but it's an opportunity. And seeing Zach talk like how he's been talking lately, these pictures, these photos. Zach doesn't do stuff just to do it. It's a meaning every time he does something. It's a meaning.
For sure. I mean, look, I want to be hopeful. I want to be that hopeful. I can't say I am, but I would like to be that hopeful. But if I'm gonna be honest, I don't see it happening just because of like.
You know what it is, man? I cleaned out my Twitter, and I just, the hope just came up again.
Oh, snap. All right, guys, we got to wrap this up. I actually still got to go to the studio and work on some music.
Yes, sir.
But if you guys got anything coming up, you guys want to touch on right quick before we head out, let us know what we got going on.
Yeah, like I said, Snyder Hater Sundays. More details to come. It's going to be it's just about dialogue, so just stay tuned on that. That's going to be cool. And then I'm gonna start some of these Snyderverse conversations with Vega, or like that Man of Steel clip. We just go and just vibe off, whatever that conversation leads. And I'm still debating what format I'm gonna kind of come with that, because this conversation could be unpredictable. So it's like we'll see, how that goes. But and just anyone watching this that follows most of my platforms, Saturday is going to be a pretty active day every week, whether you're a patron or follow the YouTube videos or Twitter videos. It's because of the work schedule. So I'm shifting a lot of stuff to the weekend. It's going to be a pretty active time. So just stay tuned. Stay tuned overall.
All right. How about you, Silos?
Man, so right now, as y'all know, sports been playing the basketball league. We're almost coming to an end of this season. And other than that, I've been working a lot behind the scenes. As you see, I'm starting to have my own merch. We got the RTP caps. I'm working on a website right now with all the different merch on there. So once that, follow me on my link tree is going to be on there as well. It's right here on that caption right here. I got a lot of screenings this year coming. I had Snow White earlier last week. I have some people telling me that they're trying to get me in to see Superman. They're trying to get me in to see Jurassic Park. So I'm going to be getting a lot of early screenings this year. So it's going to be a busy year for RTP. And
let's go.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. A lot of stuff in the pipeline. So just stay tuned. Follow me on my Twitter, and I'll keep y'all posted.
Let's go. My guys are working out here.
You already know, brother.
All right, guys. Well, you already know what it is. It's the Chop Shop, Il Divino Vega. I do got some music coming down the pipeline. Actually, on the 27th of this month, I got a new single coming out. It's called No Love.
Hey.
It goes.
Hey.
It goes. It's kind of what we've been talking about. You feel me? And and there's a surprise. There's another surprise there coming up. But that's not for me to share. That's gonna be in its due time. It's gonna be in its due time. But and then obviously, there's a lot more music coming down the line throughout the year. So just stay posted, keep watching, and I'm gonna try and do this Chop Shop every Saturday or every weekend at the very least. So just keep your eyes peeled, keep your ears to the streets. Stay cool, be blessed, y'all. You already know what it is. One love. We out of here. Peace.
Martial arts, karate, I bust you down like Itachi. Cause you your jitney hachi. Straight kamikaze, I'm talking to bodies as I go straight brawly. Y'all niggas could hardly be me, I'm not part of the sea. I'm part of the sea like Moses. No psychosis or hocus pocus. I put importance to stay focused. Ignore all the BS on my timeline. I throw a lifeline for those thinking I ain't about mine. Hit you upside your head with a tie iron. Can't be your time if it's my time. The set to be patient, I'm patiently waiting. It's driving me crazy. Cause lately the odds that I'm facing is basic and basically tragically hating. Anticipating my fall. They want it all. They want it all for themselves. So I make the call. No need to stall. I go and get them all off of the shelf. I take affirmative action. I'm blasting and laughing of how you reacting to my satisfaction of cashing injections and Benjis and Wilsons. The life that you always imagined. Brother from the goal. Yeah. If you ever see him go, it's Holocaust or Holy Ghost. Overcome or overflow. Yeah. Either way, it's overdose. Watch you walk or comatose, penetrating to your soul.